Good morning to you. I'm Cherie Palello.
And I'm Mike Dardis. Thanks a lot for being with us on this morning as we pay tribute to the life and legacy of Springfield Township Police Officer Tim Unwin.
And although today's services are for Officer Unwin, the department also wanting us to remember William Dunson, the North College Hill man, who was also killed when the two collided along Hamilton Avenue. That was last Friday morning. I want to give you a live look right now inside Spring Grove Funeral Home. We'll show you that here as they are getting ready for the service that's going to be starting here shortly after 10 o'clock in the morning. And you can see, this is a very small space inside of Spring Grove. You can see the casket there with the flowers in front as people are now filing in to remember this officer, only 31 years old, a 4-year veteran, 2 years with the Springfield Township Police Department, 2 years with the Hamilton Police Department, and then before that he spent 4 years as a Hamilton County Corrections Officer. So very committed to law enforcement. Again, he died on Friday. He was actually responding to an officer needs assistance call. He was in North College Hill at the intersection of Hamilton Avenue and Center Ridge Avenue, right near the Ronald Reagan Highway, when sadly he somehow, we don't know who was at fault, not a lot is being given to us about the accident itself. But there was another driver in another car pulling out of the Kroger there, and sadly both of them died that morning. And
Cherie, on a morning like this, I think about how many people are touched by the tragedy. Sadly, news of an officer death travels so quickly, so people find out about it in a hurry. So I think about the people who touched his life all the way through the making of a man, whether it be somebody in grade school or a teacher that he loved or a best friend or a mentor at a boys club or in high school at Harrison High School, where he graduated in 2009, or maybe even at Cincinnati State. It's not, just about his immediate family. It's about so many people who touched that young man's life, only 31 years of age. Of course, he leaves behind his parents, Glenn and Dawn Unwin, brother Greg, sister Kim, and you see some of these powerful images that we're going to see all morning long, and nothing more powerful than when you see the ladders with the flag draped down from the fire department. We're going to be with you for the next several hours too, and to not only take you from the Spring Grove Funeral Home, but when the service there at the funeral home is over, there's about a 9-mile procession. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour for all of those vehicles to get into place, and we're going to have reporters all along the way, people lining the streets. They're going to make a very special stop along the way. The Springfield Township Police Department is about 3/4 of the way in until you get to the Arlington Memorial Gardens and the cemetery where Officer Tim Unwin will be laid to rest.
It looks as if Officer Unwin's family is in the front row. As soon as, of course, this service gets started, we will stop talking and listen in. Mike, we've talked about this several times here in the last week personally and with our team here at WLWT, as well as fellow officers who've become friends of ours. 31 years old. I think that's the thing that really struck me when I got news of this last Friday, was only 31 years old. This is a guy who had so much life ahead of him, known for his love of working out. He was super passionate about getting to the gym. He loved sports cars, we're told. Very much served the community. It looks like the service is getting underway. The music has started. Let's listen in.
Leave that there, and then I'll take that one over here.
Which one? Here?
Take this one. Okay. Then I have this committee stuff right next to it. Is that all right?
We're getting ready for Lacey Fox, the funeral director of the Spring Grove Funeral Home, to get up and speak here momentarily. While we're doing that, we want to bring in Gene Ferrara. He has 50 years of Cincinnati police experience between the University of Cincinnati Police Department and the Cincinnati Police Department, once a police chief for the UC Police Department. Gene, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate your expertise. This is obviously a somber morning, and you've covered far too many of these over the years.
Yes, far too many is correct. I'm on the Greater Cincinnati Police Museum, and there's a wall there with all of the officers in this region that have given their life in the line of duty, and it's over 150, and it's just way too many.
What are we going to see here over the next? You're going to have just a traditional service, or will there be? Is there a military flair to this, or just the graveside?
Probably only at the graveside, other than the fact that the honor guard is stationed at the foot and head of the casket. The symbolism of that, of course, is to protect the officer's remains until they can move it to its actual burial site. And so the honor guard is a significant part here. But other than that, the ceremonies that are military in nature will occur at the gravesite.
Gene, as we were saying, you've been to far too many of these. I'm looking in this packed room here at Spring Grove. It is a standing room only, a lot of police uniforms, and I imagine not just from Springfield Township.
I'm going to guess that there will be police cars in the procession that will be, it could be up to a mile long. And they'll come from not only this area, but elsewhere in Ohio. Plus, if this is typical, they'll be from states far and wide throughout the country.
Talk to us a little bit about, for you, as a former long-time police chief, and you were out there on the streets many, many years ago. When you see this picture here, a 31-year-old police officer, only on the force a total of 4 years, and to hear what happened on Friday, what was your initial reaction?
Well, as you say, I've been too many of these. The first thing is that you wonder what happened. I mean, you know what the results were, but the questions become how, why, what, when, who did what, where. The difference in this one, for me, and I think in my conversations with other officers, we have a second person that was killed in this incident. Normally, if there's someone else involved in the incident, it's someone with malicious intents and activities toward the officer. In this case, that's apparently not the case at all. This is an otherwise innocent individual that just became caught up in this vehicular accident and also gave his life. And I don't want to ever forget that.
Mm-hmm.
These ceremonies are so sad, but they're beautiful, so traditional. You were talking to me off air a little bit. It's about Tim Unwin today, but it's also about so much more. Anytime you hear about an officer death in the line of duty, especially people from all across the country in law enforcement get up and they take pause, and many of them drive all the way here to be a part of this because it's also about the people, as you mentioned, that are still living.
Yes, yes. Obviously, the ceremonies are about showing respect to the officer that did give their life. But there's a whole bunch of other officers still here, and we kind of gather because, as I was mentioned to you, when you join the department, you realize that the possibility is there, and you accept that. But you certainly don't think of it consciously every day when you go out onto the beat. You push it into the back of your mind. But one of these happens, and now it's front again. Mm-hmm. And it's front and center for all of us. And there's a reference to the police officers' families. There's blood and blue. There's the blood relatives, and then there's every other person that's in the field of law enforcement is your brother or sister.
Who realizes that this could be them, at any given day. I was actually talking with an officer friend of mine. I have two family members who are both in law enforcement. I worry about them every time we hear of something when I know it's the area they're patrolling. But I was talking with an officer last night, and he was talking to me. He's young. He's about the same age as Officer Unwin. And he talked to me about how in his police jacket, so his police folder, he already has a letter that he wants people to know his thoughts, and everything really spelled out. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're so young. I cannot believe you've thought that far ahead. I mean, here I am. I could be his mother, and I don't even want to go down that road.
Yeah.
But that's the world you all live in. And you were telling us a story just a few minutes ago about your wife and where the phone was. Tell us about that.
Yes, I was very, very fortunate. My wife has been supportive of my career through all of those years. And a portion of them, I did a couple of riots in the 60s and 5 years on the SWAT team. And so my term covered some pretty heinous things and some very wretched, but I never got any pushback from her that she didn't want me to be a police officer. She knew how much I wanted to be a police officer. And she told me that she watched her father get up and go to a job that he went to in order to be able to take care of his family, but it wasn't a job that he loved like I loved law enforcement. And so she said, how could I not let you do that? Mm-hmm. And so I had that. And the story that I was telling you is on the SWAT call-ups in the middle of the night. The phone would ring, the phone was on her side of the bed. She'd say, he's right here. She'd hand me the phone. I would get the information about where's the incident, what do we know about it, and all that, getting ready. She'd go over to the closet and get all my gear out. And when I got out of bed and I got dressed into my SWAT gear, she'd hand me my duffel bag, kiss me, and say, be careful, I'll see you when you're done.
Look at this emotional moment we're watching here live as we get ready for the service at the Spring Grove Funeral Home.
Mike, we're not sure, but remember, we've been talking very much that the Springfield Township Police Department wanted to make sure that today they also honor the other person who was killed that morning, and that was William Dunson. He literally was just days away from celebrating his 51st birthday. We believe that may have been his wife and family. Mr. Dunson leaving behind a wife of almost 27 years. They were going to celebrate 27 years this year. They had 4 children, including a son with special needs. He had dropped off his brother at home, was leaving the Kroger last Friday morning when somehow their paths collided. Tim Unwin, Officer Unwin, was racing to an officer needs assistance call. Mr. Dunson was leaving Kroger when this tragic crash happened.
We learn every day in our job, unfortunately, how fragile life can be in a wrong place, wrong moment, wrong time. In just that 1 second of time, this gentleman's pulling out of a Kroger right when Officer Unwin is driving, and that's where we arrive at this moment today. Gene, just real quick, I mentioned that we meet so many people under these awful circumstances, and one thing that really strikes me is folks, after somebody passes away within a week or two, a lot of the friends stop hanging around the home, and a lot of the family go back to where they're from. The police, the police family, they try to do something a little bit different. They try to be around. They try to lift up that family for many months to come. Is that correct?
Absolutely. In fact, there's an organization called The Shield that was started here by police officers. I'm proud to say I was a charter member. But they raise money to be able to financially support the family. There's a couple of things that happen. Of course, the first one is even if you have insurance, it's not there right now. So how do you meet the needs? For instance, in some cases, family members may be in another state and need to travel here. And the Shield's financial support covers transportation costs, hotels, whatever. And then I'm gonna say, based on my experience of past cases, there will be officers from that police department, Springfield Township, but also all around here that will be with that family to give them support.
I believe that this is the funeral
Welcome,
director,
family and
Lacey
friends.
Fox. Let's listen in.
Welcome, family and friends. My name is Lacey Fox, and I'm a funeral celebrant and funeral director here at the Spring Grove Funeral Home. And it is truly an honor and privilege to be here with you this morning as we celebrate the life and mourn the death of a truly amazing man, Tim Unwin. On behalf of his family, I thank you all for being here today. It is an important day when we stop to bear witness to a person's life and their time among us. Time stands still for just a moment as we acknowledge that someone has touched our lives, has made an imprint on our hearts, and that our souls are forever changed. Tim left this life a little under a week ago, and his spirit and his life made a difference and will continue to do so as long as each of you remember him in your hearts and carry the lessons of his life with you. A loved one is the treasure of the heart, and losing a loved one is like losing a piece of yourself. It can leave a void that may never be filled. But rather than dwelling on what has been lost, we must teach ourselves to focus on the times that we were blessed to have with Tim and have him in our lives, and the memories that were made, and those moments are irreplaceable and yours to always cherish. Each one of us here today has been given a special gift in this life, and that is the gift of memory. We have this incredible ability to look back in our minds and recall all the special times that we spent with the ones that we love. Each one of us has been using that gift since the day that Tim passed, and I know that we will continue to use that in the days to come. Memories are a way of holding on to things that you never want to lose. So when someone that you love becomes a memory, that memory becomes a treasure. And Tim's memory is now your treasure to keep safe and alive. I know that Tim is here with us today, and I want to take a minute to thank him for everything that he has done for you, his family and friends. And I know that he's here with us today because in the last, almost week, he's been sending his little signs, his double rainbow, cardinals. He's been messing with the electricity. So I know he's here. And again, just want to thank him. Tim, you are so dearly loved. You are in our hearts and our minds and will carry you with us as we move forward in our lives. You leave us with the strength and pride to do good and right, and your memory will guide us just as you did when you were on our side. Tim, what a wonderful life you lived, and what an impact you had and made on others. There's no doubt today that the end of your time here, you left our hearts aching. You left so many tears as your family start to try to figure out a new way of life without you. But my goodness, you have left behind so many warm memories and a beautiful legacy of love for your family and friends. We celebrate you. We honor you, but most of all, we pay tribute to that constant love and sense of fun that you always shared so willingly with your family and friends, and we're never going to forget you. We thank you for your strength of character and for being the face of reassurance in times of difficulty. We thank you for your perseverance and determination to be the best you could be for us. We thank you for your wonderful smile and silliness and all the times that you made us laugh. We thank you for the magic that you have woven into life, and we thank you for being an example of strength and grace when times were rough. But most of all, we thank you for your love and your support that we needed when we needed it most, and for all the effort you put into our lives, for your thoughts and deeds, your cuddles and care, and for your kind and humble heart. And we thank you for everything that you were, all that you gave, and may you now forever rest in peace with a certain knowledge that you were, are, and always will be dearly loved and terribly missed. Thank you for your legacy that you have left, for your creative inspiration, your guidance, your counsel, and thank you for being you. The world is a far richer place for your presence among us. Our love is with you always.
I'm thankful
Wait.
I never have to wonder.
Okay, we're hearing some music there from inside the funeral home, and after this song, you're going to hear from the Springfield Township Police Chief, some family members, and then somebody representing the Springfield Township Police Department, Officer Peggy Schneider. So if you're just joining us 10:26 in the morning, we are here to honor the life of Officer Timothy Unwin, 31 years of age, died last Friday in the line of duty, and we'll be with you all morning as we lay this officer to rest.
To be with the Lord. What a beautiful ending. What a blessed beginning. To be with the Lord. In the glory of heaven. In the sound of the singing. I miss you, and waiting isn't easy. Feels like eternity, but I'll find you seated at the table. Save a space for me. In eternity. To be with the Lord. What a beautiful ending. What a blessed beginning. To be with the Lord. In the glory of heaven, in the sound of the singing. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, mindful with your voice. Holy, holy, is the Lord God Almighty. My voice with your
At this time, I would like to invite Chief Rick Bly to come and share some words about Tim.
My name is Rick Bly, and I'm the Chief of Police at the Springfield Township Police Department. Before I get going, I want to say something to Tim. Tim, we saw you with that rainbow over our PD last Friday when you died. We heard your thunder yesterday at church. We get it. We know you love us. And we love you too. But rest easy, because we all got this. I want to start by saying some thank yous. Thank you to Tim's mom and dad, Don and Glenn. Thank you to Tim's brother, Greg, Tim's sister, Kim, and her husband, Ryan, and the rest of Tim's extended family. Thank you to Tim's lifelong friends and Tim's law enforcement family, especially Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey and the entire Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, and Chief Craig Buchheit in the City of Hamilton Police Department. Thank all of you for allowing me to have the honor of speaking today. Everyone in this room knows what it's really like to be a cop in America in this time in history. And everyone knows it takes a remarkable person to be able to do this job. Tim believed it took a superhero. Well, Tim, there's a huge challenge in recruiting superheroes today. But Springfield Township is thankful to Tim, that Tim chose our family and community to serve his calling. Don and Glenn, thank you for sharing Tim with us. Over the past few days, I nervously thought about what I wanted to say today. Two things came to my mind. One was some recent advice given to me that sometimes it's not about what you say, it's how you make people feel when you say it. And the second was a speech by Theodore Roosevelt that hung in my locker, titled "The Man in the Arena." It's been there for the past 25 years, since I stole it from the desk of Chief Tim Holloways at the Drug Task Force in 1997. I want to read that speech today. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement. and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. So in simple cop language, that means we should praise the man who's out there fighting the big battles, even if those battles end in defeat. Tim was constantly in the arena, working out all the time to be ready for the battles. His personality would never let him criticize anyone or point out how anyone stumbled or was struggling with anything. Instead, he'd be the first one there making everyone around him better. The credit belongs to Tim because he lived in the arena. Every day he put his uniform on. I don't know if his rosy cheeks were ever marred by dust, but we know he put his blood, sweat, and tears into everything he did, especially when it came to cars. Tim was enthusiastic about being a cop. He loved it and was devoted to it, and did the deeds for a worthy cause every tour of duty. Tim's journey ended in triumph as an honorable and respected police officer. This week has been a time for grief and mourning. It's been the hardest week of our lives. It's tested our faith to the fullest. Tim was a loving son and brother. He made everyone smile with his antics. He truly made everyone a better person. A family friend that my wife Michelle and I attend church with lost their daughter at an early age years ago. At that time, we couldn't comprehend how you continue on in life with such sudden, tragic loss. Their motto was to live better, not bitter. As we leave here today, let's honor Tim in the way he lived his life by making people better. Let's not focus on being bitter about something we will never fully understand. Let's Tim's influence make us better with everything we do in honor of him. Thank you.
I'd now like to invite up Jacob Kennedy to share a few words.
I didn't know I was leading off, so thought I had a couple extra minutes. For those that don't know me, my name's Jacob Kennedy. I've known Tim since the 3rd grade, and over the past week, just like everyone else, it's been a dense fog. Just trying to get through the week, really. And, all sorts of memories and stories come back to mind, and things that you think are insignificant in the moment just carry so much more weight now. And just like all of you guys, I'm sure you have hundreds of stories you could tell. And quite honestly, I want to hear all of them. And I want to tell all the ones that I have. But the one that really, I guess, has spoken to me all week, and I've told some of you guys already, was really the first memory I have of Tim. He came over to my house when we were really young, and we ended up just playing Nintendo 64 in my basement. And the stories become so vivid over the past week, and we were playing a James Bond game, but it wasn't GoldenEye. It was another one. It was a blue cartridge. I don't know if any of you guys know, but it ended up being him playing and me watching because I was so bad. And you know, we didn't have a memory card, so you either played all the way through before turning it off, or you had to start over. And we got all the way through. He carried the team. But then you fast forward to any time in the past 8 months, and he would text me randomly throughout the week and ask if I wanted to play Call of Duty on PS4. And you know, we would play every now and again, and you know, offline I would ask him, half jokingly but half serious, you know, why do you keep inviting me to play? I'm terrible. And I know Zach is out there somewhere, and I even told Tim, I was like, your cop buddies have to hate me because I don't do anything for this team online. But my point, I guess, with all this is he just simply responded and said he didn't care. He just wanted to hang out. And, you know, I think the big theme from any story that I have with Tim is he never asked anything. He just wanted you to be there. And you know, literally every story, he was just always there.
At this time, I'd like to invite up Jake Gilbert.
Hi guys. Like most of us, everybody knows Tim had an infectious way of weaving into everybody's life. People just loved Tim, and everybody that you know met him, knew him, they were close to. I've known Tim for a very long time. When we first met, it was second grade, and his parents bought the lot across the street from us, and Tim just popped up one day. Just, there's Tim. And it was like kind of finding a stray dog, because we didn't live close to people, and then all of a sudden there was just a kid, and I'm like, you're my age, why are we here? Like, okay. Throughout the years, Tim had gained, just very much became part of the family. We were very close. My parents considered him a son, and throughout the years, you know, we were just really, really close. And my parents loved him just like a son, so they would show up. And when my friends would come over, Tim never knocked, he just walked in. He was part of the family. And to be fair, I think my parents would have been pissed if Tim knocked, especially got the dog barking and stuff. And like, why are you not doing this? Well, with that love came certain things that, you know, my parents would do. And we started, you know, like everybody, started drinking a little bit. And everybody knows this about Tim. He hates cardio, hates it, except when he's drinking. So we'd had a party, and Tim was drinking, and he decided he's going to go for a run down the street in the middle of the night. Well, my mom did not like that. So Tim came back from his run, and then all of a sudden we just didn't see Tim no more. So I went in the house. Tim's sitting in a recliner next to my mother. I said, Tim, what are you doing? And my mom just spoke for him and goes, Tim's in timeout. So Tim sat there for about 10 minutes. Then mom just let him go. And we were old enough to not be in timeout. And that was just Tim. Everybody loved him, all the goofiness that he would do. And I just wanted to say thank you all for coming out. It means a lot to us all that you're here. And I know that he would have truly hated being the center of attention like this, but I'm so glad that you all are here. Thank you all.
At this time, I'd like to invite up Justin Eichel to come and share.
All right, so I didn't know the order of this either, so I got a couple extra minutes. So I wrote mine down. I've got, like everybody said, 1,000 different stories with Tim. You can't really narrow them down, but I said, screw it, I'm gonna give 2 of them. But I'm gonna start off, Tim and I started our law enforcement careers back in December of 2014, down at Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. We went from there to the city of Hamilton together, a little bit apart, but he followed. Pops up. From there on, I was at Hamilton for a few years, moved to Springfield Township, Tim followed. Again, that stray dog. So my meaning behind this is Tim has been a part of my life and my career since 2014. We all have family we see once in a while. We see family holidays, events. Tim was there for all of mine. Shit, he even went to Nashville without me with my family. But this last trip, I actually made the trip with him, with my family. So I have two good stories I kind of want to talk about. The first one was early March. Tim and I went over to the gym. Shocking. Then he stopped over at my house. I was looking at doing a rehab on a house literally across the street that I was working on. He came through, he's gonna do the electrical work. Thanks to his dad, he learned a few things, but we can't say he was a master electrician at that point. After that, my dad stopped over. We then went to Mi Cozumel, which is a detail Tim worked very often. So we get there, he said, so what kind of night's it gonna be? I said, what do you mean? He said, we have an A beer or we have an A beers? I said, yeah, we'll have a beer. I kept the S silent. Had a beer. My sister, another law enforcement officer who worked with Tim at Hamilton, says, hey, I'm off tonight. Cool. What are we doing? So we go from Mi Cozumel to Wings and Rings, quarter mile down the street, set up. The next thing we know, we get beers. Before you know it, 4 hours goes by. From that one beer turned into who knows how many. We get back to my house, and I have the most competitive family. And I see all these pictures throughout the week, Tim in sports outfits and whatever. I don't want to say costumes because the way he played basketball that night was not like he played basketball before. It's hard to look back on it. As Jake had said, the small things you don't realize are impactful. But every moment with him was an impact. So, the day before Tim's accident, Again, stopped over the house. He came through, he's working a traffic detail. I said, thanks for ditching me on the gym. He's like, I had to do cardio. I was like, oh, did you? We walk through the house, we get done, we get back out to his cruiser, and he asked me, are you gonna go to the gym? Because he ditched me. I said, yeah, of course. I said, Mama didn't raise no bitch. His exact words, as he got into his cruiser and gave me one of these, was, you're right, if she did, it was my brother. So. I don't think he was right, but I'm just saying. Those were his words. So I'm going to end with this. No matter the length of time you knew Tim, he left a lifelong impact. His kindness, humor, and boundless energy made others around him exhibit those exact qualities. He truly made the world a better place. Thank you.
And to conclude our time of sharing, I would like to invite up Officer Peggy Schneider.
Did you guys really think that you were going to get away with not hearing from me? I mean, come on. So this week, I have shared so many stories with the Unwins. We have laughed, we have cried together. As hard as it is, I feel like I've gained more of a family. I just feel truly blessed. The time that I got to spend with Tim and the trips that we went on, and just, we had so much fun. He never met a stranger. And just like Justin, he's part of my family. My older brother, Georgie, always calls him Steve because he swears that when he was introduced to him, his name was Steve. So he still calls him Steve. But in true Tim fashion, I raided the cookie jar mom, and I'm gonna share with our family our Reese cups from off the top of your refrigerator. I'm sorry I took all of them. And as I eat this, not all of them, I'm gonna share. I promise, I'll share, Tim, I promise.
He would eat those in one sitting.
I know he would eat them in one sitting. Like Justin said, he ate, what was it, 9 ho-hos? 9 ho-hos last week in Nashville. I know that he's gonna be saying, you don't need that. But in one of Tim's favorite gestures, which isn't this one, we all know the other one, whenever you took a photograph of Tim, he would either do this or another one. That's my answer to him. I'm gonna tell him. And I want to thank you all for coming. This has been great, the show of support. And I know his family really appreciates it.
Wait a minute, you have not.
I'm trying to make him proud.
And to finish our time together, I'm going to invite up Father Steve Angie, Vicar General with the Archdiocese of Cincinnati.
We conclude in prayer by beginning in the same way that Tim was baptized, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I bless the body of Tim with the holy water that recalls the day of his baptism, of which St. Paul writes, all of us who were baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death. By baptism into his death, we were buried together with him, so that just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, we too might live a new life. Let us pray. Lord God, today we honor Tim with Christian burial. Give him fellowship with all your saints, and bring him at last to the glory of your kingdom, where you are Lord forever and ever. Amen. This is a scripture reading from the Gospel of St. John, beginning at the beginning of chapter 14. Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Have faith in God and faith in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. Otherwise, how could I have told you that I was going to prepare a place for you? I am indeed going to prepare a place for you, and then I shall come back to take you with me, that where I am, you also may be." "Lord," said Thomas, "we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Jesus told him, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me." I will invite your response to each invocation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom should I fear? The Lord is my life's refuge. Of whom should I be afraid? The Lord is my light and salvation. One thing I ask of the Lord, this I seek, to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, that I may gaze on the loveliness of the Lord and contemplate his temple. The Lord is my light and salvation. Hear, O Lord, the sound of my call. Have pity on me and answer me. Your presence, O Lord, I seek. Hide not your face from me. The Lord is my light and my salvation. I believe that I shall see the bounty of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord with courage. Be stout-hearted and wait for the Lord. The Lord is my life and my salvation. This is a very sad day for Tim's parents, Glenn and Dawn, for his brother Greg, his sister Kim, and his brother-in-law Ryan. It is also a sad day for all of those at the Springfield Township Police Department, as well as for this community at large. We are also grieving for ourselves, because this is everyone's loss. This is particularly and extremely painful for everyone who worked with Tim in the Springfield Township Police Department and most recently in the Hamilton Police Department. We stand together in our grief. Left alone, we would fall down in despair. But together, we are trying to hold each other up. That's why we find the need to gather to pray today and to support each other. There's a book written by M. Scott Peck that begins with the words, "Life is difficult." How true that is. Our tears are multiplied because we all know that Tim's untimely death should not have happened the way that it did. His death does not make much sense to us. We scratch our heads when we remember that Tim went to work and by all accounts was on patrol, guarding the citizens of Springfield Township. And many of us will continue to ask the question, why? But answers do not come easy, if at all. The best we can do, and what we are asked to do, is to entrust ourselves to the love and mercy of God. His plan for us is much larger than our ability to understand it. Because in the end, life is as mysterious as death is. As hard as it may be to accept, Tim is at peace, even if right now we are not. Tim knew, just as all men and women in blue know, that their lives might be demanded from them. It comes with the territory. Thank God, there are people more braver than many of us, like Tim. We want to thank all the men and women who serve us in law enforcement. Thank you for putting your lives on the line every day and for keeping us safe. Thank you, Tim, for serving us and for protecting us, and for building up the community at a time when so many want to destroy it with drugs, guns, and crime. You made our community a better place in which we could live, work, play, and pray. A passage from the Gospel of St. John is where Jesus tells us, "Greater love has no man for us than to lay down his life for his friends." Tim, you showed us that great love. Tim wanted to make sure that people's rights were upheld with justice, and he did it in a compassionate and sensitive way with a smile. God gave him an outgoing personality, physical strength, intelligence, good judgment, passion, and stick-to-itiveness for one to be successful in law enforcement. It was his calling to protect us, to make us laugh, and to lift us up. That's why this funeral home is so filled with mourners who are remembering a life well lived and honoring a man who gave of himself so that others might live. We thank God today for the gift of Tim, and we pray for more like him. May he rest in peace. May Officer Tim Unwin's prayers help to protect us from above. And may his memory and his spirit live on, not only in our minds and in our hearts, but in the depths of our souls. Trusting in God, we have prayed together for Tim, and now we come to the last farewell. There is sadness in parting here, but we take comfort in the hope that one day we shall see Tim again and enjoy his friendship. Although we may disperse in sorrow, it is the peace of God that will gather us together again. Therefore, let us console one another in the faith of Jesus Christ as we pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Father, into your hands we commend our brother Tim, in the confident and sure hope that he will be raised to life again on the last day. We thank you for all of the blessings you have given to him in this life. They are signs to us of your goodness and of the fellowship which is ours with the saints in Jesus Christ. Lord, hear our prayer. Welcome our brother Tim to paradise, and help us to comfort each other with the assurance of our faith. until we are all meeting with you and with our brother Tim forever. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. In peace now, we take our brother Tim to his place of rest.
It's perfect outside, it's like God let me down the weather. Got the whole crew here, I ain't seen some of them forever. It's one of those never forget best, I can take it in passing. Everything's just right. Yeah, except for one thing. You should be standing with your arm around me, cutting up, cracking a cold beer, saying cheers. Hey y'all, it's sure been a good year. It's one of those moments that's got your name written on your phone. Even if I had to fork away, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. You should be here. You'd be taken with too many pictures on your phone.
You have been watching the funeral service for Officer Timothy Unwin, Springfield Township officer, 4-year veteran, 2 years with Springfield Township, 2 years prior to that with the Hamilton Police Department, and 4 years earlier a Hamilton Corrections officer. Right now, officers, family, and friends being dismissed, and they're going to leave Spring Grove Funeral Home for the burial at Arlington Memorial Gardens in Springfield Township. The procession is going to take quite a while to get organized. As you can imagine, there are police officers and representatives from all over greater Cincinnati, not just in there. That's a very small area, Spring Grove Funeral Home, but it's standing room only there. And then outside, there are officers lined up from all over. The procession is about 9 miles to Arlington to get there. What we have seen this morning was such a balance. You know, sadly, over the last several years, we have had a number of officers who have died in the line of duty. This officer died on Friday of last week. He was on his way to an officer needs assistance call when he collided with an innocent bystander, which normally is sadly not the case. It's usually a criminal or someone who is involved in some sort of criminal activity, but this was an innocent bystander who was leaving the Kroger when their cars collided. They're in North College Hill at the intersection of Hamilton Avenue and Center Ridge Avenue, right near the Ronald Reagan Highway. And one of the most touching moments, aside from the tributes that we heard from Chief Bly, the Chief of Police for the Springfield Township Police Department, as well as 3 lifelong friends, we saw a moment where the family of William Dunson, he was that innocent bystander, his family is there at the funeral. William Dunson was just days away from his 51st birthday, and the family walked up to what we believe was Officer Unwin's family, and they all hugged and joined each other. This was before the service began, and we'll show you that here shortly, but it was so touching. We actually just saw it a moment ago, and it was so touching to see that they are there. And let's listen in real quickly here. I think this is the director, Lacey Fox.
Community. And at this time, we are going to have pallbearers and family step forward here. We are going to place Tim into the coach. And then, just as a reminder, we will be leaving here to head to Arlington at 12 o'clock noon. Thank you.
So that was Lacey Fox, the funeral director at Spring Grove Funeral Homes, and she's explaining what happens from here for the next hour or two. You've got a lot of vehicles and a lot of people paying their respects, and they've got to get that procession in line, and then they're going to make that 9-mile trek to the final resting place. Along the way, there will be people all along the route paying tribute to this officer, Tim Unwin. Something that really jumped out at me today, if it's not heavy enough to bury a police officer, a 31-year-old police officer at that. But what they did today, family did not speak. You had the lifelong friends, as you mentioned, Cherie. And by the way, this is Officer Gene Ferrara, 50 years in law enforcement experience in Cincinnati. Was a police chief at UC between the Cincinnati Police Department and the University of Cincinnati Police Department. Gene is here to kind of walk us through what they do. But we were talking about this service, and so often, obviously when you're burying an officer, especially a young one, it's going to be so somber, so sad. But they allowed some personality to be interjected into the proceedings today. Some of the friends telling funny stories about his personality and quirky little nature of Tim. And I think that's important because it is, after all, a celebration of life as well.
That's the important thing, is that the ceremonies there are a recognition of the sacrifice of a life, which obviously is very somber, but this was a human being.
Right.
And I like, as a police officer, that they actually reflected that part of him, that he's a human being, because so often, you know, as you're growing up, with any position, whether it's a teacher, a minister, a police officer, or whatever, the role takes precedent, and I like the fact that the human being actually came out.
And not an easy day for Chief Bly. Here's a relatively new police chief. He has not been around the media or the microphones as often as a lot of other veteran police chiefs in the area. The news conference that he held after Officer Unwin's death was a very, very short, not much information, obviously. But today, he got up there, he represented not only Tim and the family, but the entire Springfield Township community very well. Great stories. He held his composure, very emotional as well, but he did a tremendous job paying tribute to one of his fallen officers.
Absolutely, and as a former chief, I was kind of proud of that, because as the police chief, you're often the face of the department, and in this case, in the face of the profession. And I thought he just did a yeoman's job today. I was very proud of him.
We're going to play part of that here in just a few minutes, but he did what touched me so much from the chief. He said, okay, we saw the rainbow over the police station last Friday, the day, of course, of that tragic crash. We heard the thunder last night. Rest easy. We got this for you, is what he said. And as you mentioned, Mike, very touching. And to add to, I really appreciated, you could tell this was a young police officer, and without knowing much about him, just hearing from some of his buddies who they'd been friends, they grew up together from the 2nd and 3rd grade, and then the last gentleman who you heard from, Justin Eichel, they've worked in law enforcement together their entire careers, both as at the Hamilton County Detention Center, but then also again in Hamilton and in Springfield Township. And lots of laughs, which too often you don't hear, but it made you feel like you had a better sense of who this officer was. I was reading his obituary here the last couple of days, and one of the things that struck me is they said, as Tim would say, he liked to work hard and play hard. And I think you got a sense of that when you were listening to them speak. They talked about clearly how much he liked to work out, that he was relentless about his workout routine, his love for sports cars, his love for this community, and I think you just really felt that in the speeches today.
It was sad that really hit me, Gene. We were talking about when somebody like you who's been in law enforcement for 50 years, you're talking about past experiences and friends. You say, you know, Gene knew somebody going way back to 1955 or 1972. And when you hear some of these friends saying, you know, we've known each other since way back in 2014, it really drives home the fact that this is a young man who was just starting his life, 31 years of age, and it's tragic enough to begin with, but when you again shine the light on that age, and no kids and limited family at this point. He hadn't had a chance to live it
Yes.
his entire
Yes.
life, and he had just been on that department for a couple of years and really in this business of law enforcement for about 6-7 years going back. But man, it's just so sad when you think about a young man at 31 losing his life.
Well, for sure, because you think about it, and as someone who has had a fairly long life, and the things that he is not going to get to do going forward, that are just part of those next few years, the next many years, that he's not going to have, and that in itself is a sad thing.
The last time we did this was another young officer. It was a Springdale police officer, Kaya Grant. Back in 2020, it was right when the pandemic was starting, so there was all of that separation going on. She died while she was trying to lay down stop sticks and saw this criminal coming, speeding toward her, and jumped behind her cruiser, and tragically he hit that cruiser, and that ended up killing her. So once again, another young police officer that we're talking about here today, and Officer Tim Unwin. We have a team of reporters for you outside of the funeral home there at Spring Grove, all along the procession route, and then all the way to the cemetery, Arlington Church of Christ, where we will be bringing you all of that coverage. Let's dip outside right now. What they're doing, you're seeing everyone standing. They're taking the casket, of course, from Spring Grove, putting it in the hearse, and then lining up that procession. People are starting to be released here. Karen Johnson and John London are outside of Spring Grove right now to give us a little bit of perspective. Good morning.
Good morning, Cherie. You know, John and I were just talking, and we don't always see this with police funerals, but we really did get a sense of who Officer Unwin was as a person aside from a police officer. Earlier this week, I was at the Springfield Township Police Department, and the chief was saying, you know, he was not just a solid police officer, but he was a solid person. And we got that perspective today from his childhood friends, who basically said Tim was just always there. He was always there, and we got a sense of who he was. They said he was goofy, but he was also very loyal, I think, both as a friend, as a son, as a brother, and as a police officer.
And well, you're right about that, and his silliness, his smile, all that was referenced by those friends. The words that stuck out for me were from Chief Bly, where he said, "Credit the man in the arena," from the old TR speech, the President Theodore Roosevelt speech, that he said he stole from another chief back in the late 90s. But so we got a little bit of sense of that too, of what Officer Unwin was about. Not the critic, the guy who was in there doing his stuff every day, working hard, as Cherie said, playing hard. His personality was such, according to Chief Bly, that he didn't criticize anyone. He was out there supporting people, and you know, Chief Bly called it the toughest week of his life, and for the departments, this was the first line of duty death for Springfield Township, as you know, and left by saying, let's treat each other better and live the way Tim would want us to live.
And like you said, this is the first line of duty death for Springfield Township, and when something like this happens, we've seen it throughout the week. Departments, surrounding departments, Springdale, who just had the death of Kaya Grant, they all chipped in, they all assisted. I could tell you, when I was speaking to other police officers in this area since this accident took place, not one single Springfield Township police officer had to be on the road. That's because other departments stepped up. When we were at the police department the other day, we saw Laughlin, Coleraine, Springdale. Those people are filling the shoes of Springfield Township right now, and I know that means so much. That way, these officers who knew him, who worked with him, they could grieve, they could be around one another during this difficult time.
And Mike and Cherie, I know it's going to take a long time to organize this procession. What are you guys seeing back there from the inside?
John London, Karen Johnson there. Just a couple questions for both of you. First of all, John, talk about, this is a unique ceremony today because this is not a situation where there was a shootout or a situation where there was a chase of a criminal or stop sticks. This is a situation where it's a tragic accident where two people's lives intersected at the same time. This department has done an amazing job. The Springfield Township Police Department has done an amazing job of trying to honor 2 lives here over the last few days. If you could just talk about, since the death just before midnight, Friday the 31st until today, what that department's had to do, and what a touching moment this morning when you had the family of William Dunson there in attendance at this service.
Not easy because, you know, you register shock at first. You have one of your own killed in the line of duty. We know from the video of that scene, as you looked at it and you heard about 2 deaths, you wondered, you know, there was no way that anyone was going to survive that type of crash. And so you have to absorb that initial shock, and then, you know, the investigation gets underway, and you also have to pull together as a department. And I got the sense, Karen, didn't you, that department pulled together quickly?
Yes.
To support each other.
And you have to realize one thing with Springfield Township, while it's spread out, you may think it's a bigger township. It's actually a very small community. I believe there's about 50 or so, give or take, officers. So I think when something like this happens to a smaller department, it's a little more difficult because you are closer. Especially with Tim Unwin. He was a fairly young cop on the force for 2 years, worked the overnight shifts. I can only imagine that the officers he worked with were more maybe the younger ones who worked that shift, that overnight shift. So you could only imagine what's going through their mind, their family's minds. Like, that could have been my loved one, that could have been me. But again, with Springfield Township being a small community, small force, I think it does hit harder, but I believe it was the officer who said she feel like she bonded with everyone, because in times like this, you do bond with your fellow officers, not just from your own department, but surrounding departments to assist you.
And Mike, I would say too, from the get-go, Springfield Township acknowledged, and it was tough for Chief Bly, William Dunson, the 50-year-old. He was 3 days away, I think, from his 51st birthday. He remarked at that initial news conference, which was very brief, for his statement about the tragic loss for that family. And you know, they've reached out to that family, which I visited that first day. That was not easy either, but they spoke to us. Jackie Nixon spoke to us on the porch and commented about how difficult it was for their family, but also the loss of that police officer's life.
And one thing that struck me earlier in the week when I was at the police department in Springfield Township, as soon as you walked in, there was a very large photo of both Officer Unwin and also William Dunson, and there was a memorial book. People in the community were able to come and sign that book for either person. So they are doing a wonderful job of memorializing both men.
Yeah, a double tragedy that reaches, you know, a lot of families, a lot of friends, and the question hanging out there, of course, is how it happened. We're seeing some of the vehicles coming out now, the Honor Guard. You have a lot of police agencies that are here. Hamilton, of course, where Officer Unwin served, obviously Springfield Township, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff McGuffey.
And even beyond just the greater Cincinnati area, really across the state. I did see the Dearborn County Sheriff's deputies here, also Indiana. So you really have across the state, across this region, it's very well represented by law enforcement officers.
Not just this area. I mean, there are police vehicles here from Upper Arlington, New Albany, Vandalia, Grove City. We saw Dayton, Genoa Township, all through Ohio, Fort Wright from across the river, and of course just about every local police agency you could name, firefighters as well. Springfield Township Fire Department has a big presence here as well.
And again, we're just watching now officers from multiple departments. I see the sheriff's office here. They're walking out. What they're going to be doing is getting into their cars, also getting into the buses, and then this will begin the procession to his final resting spot.
And it's going to be a long procession. I heard Chief Ferrara mention that he wouldn't be surprised if it's a mile long. He's got a better gauge of that than I do. But looking at the cars that are here along Spring Grove, that would be my guess too, because there may be hundreds of vehicles here waiting to join this procession.
And for folks who are maybe at home watching this right now, this will be a good indication of when you might want to go and line the streets. I know several different municipalities have been encouraging people to get out, line the streets where they live of the procession route. I know there had been the police wives. They were out. They were tying blue ribbons around the telephone poles, around the flags. So as they make their way to the final resting place, it will be decorated in blue, a way to honor Officer Unwin. And again, many communities asking people to go out, show their respects as the procession makes their way through neighborhoods.
There's a real, we've been, Mike and Sherry, as you know, we've covered over the years these sad occasions when you have an officer lost his life in the line of duty. In this instance, you have a civilian who was just pulling out of the Kroger lot who was killed. But you have, when you look at this from just the standpoint of a news reporter looking at this, it is always impressive to see this kind of support, and very inspiring. As we, here's the arches of the fire trucks and with the flags, and there's a real solemnity and a real reverence to this occasion, and it's all to celebrate a life, to acknowledge 2 lives that were lost in this, and to honor someone who was a public servant.
Hey, Karen.
And I know
Karen.
as everyone is watching people walk out, they are thinking about Officer Unwin, the Springfield Township Police Department, the Hamilton Police Department. Another group of people who are often forgotten on all this are the dispatchers. They become very close. They become like family members to police officers, and they're the ones who were on the other line. They were the ones who were radioing in what was going on. So we have to keep them in our thoughts and prayers, as well as these officers with Springfield Township, Hamilton, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office.
Karen, can you hear me okay? It's Mike here on the set. I just wanted to talk with you real quick. I can hear you getting a little bit emotional as you talk about some of what you're seeing. And unfortunately, John and Karen, this is the 4th service like this that we've had to carry here in the last 4 years in Greater Cincinnati, going back to 2019. But Karen, there's nobody who I know, who I work with, who is more tied into the law enforcement and the fire community than you. Some of your best friends, some of your contacts that you go back years and years with, that not only have been contacts, but have become part of your life. So you can speak to what goes on behind the scenes in this last week since the death just before midnight on the 31st. We've got Gene here, and he's talking about how people from all across the country, they decide to come here to pay their respects, not only because of Officer Unwin, but because of the people who are left behind. Can you speak to some of the folks you've talked to, Karen, this last week or so, what their emotional reaction was, how they jump into duty? It's almost like a second duty, not just your job to wear that badge and protect people, but also when there's an officer who goes down, it's your duty to pay your respects and show up at an event like this to do so.
Yeah, Mike, I can tell you the morning that this happened, I did reach out to a friend of mine who is a Springfield Township police officer, just letting him know that he's in my thoughts and prayers. And his response to me was, today is just awful. And I didn't need to say any more to him. I knew he was grieving. I just wanted to let him know that, we were there for him. I can only imagine his emotions. He's a veteran police officer, and just his words, today is just awful, that really hit me. Someone else I've been in contact with this week, who I consider him a friend now, is Chief Tom Wells with the Springdale Police Department. You get these bonds from working with him every day, but when Officer Kaya Grant died, that's when I really got to know Chief Wells, a lot better. And talking to him this week, he has really been able to be there for Springfield Township. He went through this with his department not too long ago. He said when he went through it, when Kaya died, the Coleraine Police Chief, the Coleraine Police Department, they were there for him and for the Spring Delta Police Department. So he says he is now paying it forward. He is grateful he is able to pay it forward now to Springfield Township. Obviously, it's a situation you never want to find yourself in, but I know his actions, the way he has stepped up, the way his department has stepped up to help the neighboring community. I know the folks of Springfield Township has found a little bit of comfort in that bond and in that just a willingness for them to be there for this department during one of the most difficult times.
We're seeing the hearse here at the Spring Grove Funeral Home. And Karen, in listening to you talk, I remember the day this happened, being there at the Springfield Township Police Department, arriving there to gather information and then wait for the news conference with Chief Bly. But upon arrival, there were a couple of Coleraine Township officers at the base of the Springfield Township Department. Nothing had been confirmed yet. So I pulled up with them and I rolled down the window, and they rolled down the window, and I could tell by their faces, even though they gave me no information, they were just pleasant morning, you know, how you doing? I could tell by their faces that this was going to be a very difficult time, and that this was likely a fatal involving a police officer, and obviously we had 2 deaths that day. So this is part of what I was mentioning, and in hearing you talk about those other officers and those other events, it hits hard, and you can see it, you can feel it. You felt it in that room where Chief Bly was that first day. I mean, it was really palpable, and so to have everyone turn out in this is what law enforcement does. They come out, part of the family, support each other, and get through this in big numbers and in a big way.
And another department that is deeply impacted by this is the City of Hamilton Police Department. I have also been in touch with folks over there because one thing that struck me when we first learned of who the officer was, when it was released, it was Officer Tim Unwin. We learned he was a Hamilton police officer. And one of the first pictures I saw of him was when he was sworn in at the Hamilton Police Department. At that time, he was in his late 20s, just starting his career. He was with Chief Bukait and a group of other of the recruits from the city of Hamilton, and you just saw the smiles on their faces, and you just look, they have their whole life ahead of them. They're young officers just starting out. Now here we are 4 years later. So that was one of the hardest things, I think, for me to see. And I know the folks over at the Hamilton City Department, they knew him. They worked with him. So they're grieving just as much as the Springfield Township Police Department today.
And of course, he was a corrections officer with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department.
And he was also a local guy. Went to Harrison High School and Cincinnati State. So he is a local guy through and through. Born and raised here, worked for 3 different departments. You could tell a lot of loyal friends, a lot of loyal coworkers.
And when you're a local guy from the west side, you're local in Cincinnati. Yeah.
And you could see there was a little bit of laughter in the service this morning from his west side friends. You really got a sense of that west side personality when they spoke, talking about how even as maybe an adult, one of their friends' moms put him in timeout, and they did have some humor to his stories, and that just spoke to who he was. Again, the goofiness, but also very loyal and very dedicated. Chief Bly said he put blood, sweat, and tears into every single thing that he did.
I know there was, just in reading a little bit about him, there was a security guard that wrote a post saying that he had to call on Officer Unwin on New Year's Day to be helped out for a call, and then a week before he died to deal with a trespasser, and that he really appreciated the way Officer Unwin conducted his business. Mike and Cherie, it's going to take them a while to get this procession going as you can expect with all the vehicles here and all the components of this. But once the hearse comes out and the Springfield Township leads the way to his final resting place, you will have the procession go north on Spring Grove and then west on Winton and then to Compton, and they'll go past the Springfield Township Police Department. I know we have people lined up along the route.
John London and Karen Johnson live outside of Spring Grove for us, and both of you, thank you so much. You've done this too many times with us, and we always appreciate your perspective. You are out there, you meet these police officers, their friends, their family members, and I know you get very close to all of these stories, but especially when something tragic like this happens. So thank you both. We'll be chatting here as our continuous coverage goes on throughout the afternoon, and we will be with you for several hours here as we lay Officer Tim Unwin to rest here. That will happen here in just a couple of hours. So as you are watching, this is live coverage from Spring Grove Funeral Home. We are waiting for everything to get lined up before that procession begins. We knew it would take about an hour, and it's taking that. Remember, you have officers from all over Greater Cincinnati and beyond here to represent and show their love and support. The procession is about 9 miles to the Arlington Memorial Gardens, and John was talking about it. Let's take you through the route and what you're going to see. That procession expected to leave Spring Grove here in about the next 20-25 minutes. It's going to head east on Spring Grove Avenue, turning left on Winton Road. It will then take the procession all the way to Compton Road. The procession will then turn left onto Compton, where it will go past Springfield Township, the police station there, on its way to the Arlington Memorial Cemetery for today's burial. We're going to talk with Brian Hemrick here in just a moment. One of the things you're going to see on the cars are these magnets with the Springfield Township Police logo, as well as number 286. That is Officer Unwin's police number. Here they are. These magnets will be placed on all of the cars at the crash site. We also saw Officer Unwin's number, his badge number 286, in balloons that were represented. Also, I do want to mention, as you're watching this and you're thinking, I want to help in some way, I want to do something, we should mention that in lieu of flowers, Officer Unwin's family is asking to make memorial donations to the Shield, which helps police families in a crisis like this. Also, the Tunnels to Towers Foundation, you know what that is, in St. Jude, and it just goes to show what an amazing family they have. They're wanting all, instead of sending flowers or even making donations to the Springfield Township Police Department, to go to those 3 charities. Let's get out to Brian Hemrick. He is right outside of the police station where he actually has been talking with some of the people who are filling in to make sure that anyone who knew and worked with Officer Unwin can be focused on today's funeral service and burial, and that they have that post covered. Good morning to you, Brian.
Yeah, good morning, Cherie. Yeah, they have been working together. All these different police departments come together at a time like this, and they have been covering the shifts so these officers can do what they need to do to deal with what's happened with Officer Tim Unwin. And they've come here to the police department. This is where, when the procession comes by here on Compton Road, we are told it will pause here. They'll stop. It's not really known exactly what will happen or how many people will be here or if there'll be officers standing here, but it will pause here momentarily. This is where Officer Unwin spent the last 2 years of his police career. This is where that rainbow the chief spoke about appeared the other day. This is where officers have been coming to give their condolences and to talk with the chief here. Inside of the police department up here, there is not only a picture of Officer Unwin, but also of William Dunston. So both men are represented right in the lobby of the police department here, and they wanted to be sure that both men are being remembered today. inside the police department and outside here. We are about 2 miles from Arlington Memorial Gardens, which is where will be Officer Unwin's final resting place here. So when they pause here, we've been to a number of these over the years with firefighters and police. It is a very emotional moment. It can be overwhelming for officers whenever they come by to make that final stop at the place where they spent so much time and the place where they gave so much to represent. Outside the police department here is where that cruiser we've been talking about this morning in the numbers 286, representing the badge number of Officer Unwin. They have a wreath there, his picture's here, the police vehicle is decorated here, the bunting on it, there have been balloons. It looks like people have put flowers on the front of this. They've been stopping by. In fact, the entire course of this parade route has been lined with blue ribbons. We talked with the Police Wives of Ohio who put that down. I'm not sure if you can see, there's one here very close, but right around the police department, it goes all through there. They're really thick here, but they've lined the entire route with these blue ribbons, and they've been out here for the last couple of days doing this and planning it. But it's just another way to show how these different departments come together during all this. And I also we had talked to the chief over at Springdale. Now remember, that's where Kaya Grant was killed recently, and the department here helped so much over there that the chief said he just wanted to be a part of letting this department know how supportive they want to be, because they appreciate how supportive they were. Listen to a little bit of what Chief Tom Wells had to say about that.
This spot had meaning to me because when Kaya Grant was killed in the line of duty in 2020, Coleraine Township came to our support, and they had a special tribute right in front of our police station as we came by in the procession, and that meant the world to us because they really took us in their arms that week and had really just, they filled every need and were there for us completely. And this morning I just felt it was important symbolically to come here and to support this team of Springfield Township Police Department. We've been working with them this week. I can't even count the number of police departments that have been involved in this, and it just felt, for me, from what happened in 2020, important for me to stand at their driveway to let them know that we've got them.
Yeah, so you can see that kind of support, that mutual respect that these departments have for each other, covering each other's shifts, having each other's backs, both here and emotionally during a very, very difficult time. I'm going to send it back to you guys now as we continue to kind of keep an eye on how things play out here in front of the Springfield Township Police Department.
All right, Brian, thanks so much. Right there, about 6.5 miles along that procession route, sure to be perhaps the most emotional stop along the way as they arrive at Arlington Memorial Cemetery later on, the final resting place. Before we go to break real quick, just wanted to let you know that we've been on the air since 10 o'clock this morning. Mike Dardis, Sheree Palello, Gene Ferrara here, 50 years of police experience in Cincinnati, reporters all along the way. We're in between the service and the procession, and then we're going to carry it all the way to the graveside service as we say goodbye to Officer Tim Unwin, the man behind badge 286. You see 286 in balloons on that vehicle outside the Springfield Township Police Department. More coverage on the other side of this quick break. And welcome back. 11:46 in the morning on a Thursday as we say goodbye to that officer in the bottom left of your screen, Officer Timothy Unwin, Springfield Township Police, badge number 286. You see the balloons on top of that vehicle outside the Springfield Township Police Department. We've been on the air since 10 o'clock this morning. Mike Dardis, along with Cherie Palello, a team of reporters out in the field, and Gene Ferrara, who has 50 years of policing experience in Cincinnati with the Cincinnati Police Department, University of Cincinnati PD as well. He was the chief at UC for many years. Talk about the importance of what we're going to see here, Gene, over the next hour or so. Probably within 15 or 20 minutes, many of these vehicles are going to get in line representing departments from all across the region and across America as well. Maybe around noon or so, they'll make that 9-mile trek to the final resting place. But we were talking a little bit about the policing. In the last couple of years, police have been under fire. It's been well documented in the news. They've worked to try to be more cohesive with these communities, and tragedies a lot of times bring us closer together. How important is it for the family of Timothy Unwin and these police officers in these police departments when they're driving along this procession route to see people from those communities? And these are folks in those neighborhoods, many of them who lived there forever, who run out to that street corner and they want to pay their respects and they line those streets. How important is that to see somebody who's worked in this business for so long?
Well, as we were saying, I think that's important at any time. But I look at what this country has gone through in the last couple of years relative to the I hate to say, but like the separation of community and police, and all of the police departments with which I'm familiar are doing everything they can to try to bring that community and police back, and to see it, unfortunately, in a tragedy like this, but frequently tragedies do, in fact, cause us to pull back together. And I think for most police officers that I know, and certainly for me personally, we really aren't looking for any monetary or kind of rewards, but just to see that the community recognizes what police are doing matters. And I think that's the word that most of us, we just want what we're doing to matter. And that the community recognizes the sacrifice of this officer. This is the ultimate, but even every day, and then we were talking earlier about family life, and you know, so many times my wife represented me at my family for birthdays or weddings or whatever, because I was on duty, and the two of you aren't on a regular job either. And so it's just to see that pull together, not only of the other police departments, as you said, Mike, because they'll be from all over in that procession, but even the fire. To see the ladders with the flag being dropped down. We jibe and poke fun at each other between police and fire, and most often just in a good-natured way. But when tragedies strike, this is when we come together, and it's how important it is to feel like we're together.
And we are going to see a lot of powerful images along the way, along that procession route. And then we get to the final resting place at Arlington Gardens there. And we're going to see a combination of police tradition and military as well, right?
Very much. You know, when I started in police work, we were told it's a semi-military organization. You know, there are rank structures very similar to the military, uniforms similar to military. So there's a strong bond, if you will, between military, police, and fire. And they're the only three that I know that have, to your term, military ceremonies around funerals, especially for people who die in the line of duty. So I'm going to imagine that those traditions will be there. Things like the blowing of taps with the bugle, there'll probably be a bagpiper there will be the 21-gun salute, the folding of the flag. All those things have meaning. And that's the important thing, is that ceremonies give us recognition that things have changed. That's the biggest thing about ceremonies, is the formal recognition it's not going to be the same. And for me, I always believe, and I know the term, I didn't coin it, but I use it frequently, is every police officer has two families, blood and blue. And to see that camaraderie and the coming together to help support each other. And I know at Saul, they were talking before about the local police departments around Springfield Township will come in and cover. They'll take radio calls there, they'll patrol there to allow the Springfield Township officers to put that burden down and go to give their respect to a fellow officer in their department. That warms my heart to see that kind of camaraderie.
Chief Gene Ferrara, who was the chief of police for the University of Cincinnati for years and years in law enforcement between UC and Cincinnati Police for more than 50 years. And we so appreciate you being here with us to guide us through this. I know every single one of these is personal for you as a former officer and chief, and you don't want to be here with us today any more than any of us wants to be here. So we really appreciate your insight. Gene's going to be staying with us throughout the afternoon today. You know, I was really touched. We talk about the brotherhood, and Chief Bly, the chief for Springfield Township, mentioned during his service today and his tribute today during the funeral that there was a rainbow over the police department last Friday, the day that this young officer died. And so I went on their Twitter account, their Facebook account. I was trying to to see if there was a picture. There was not. But what I saw on there was tributes from police departments all over, not just Greater Cincinnati, even the Police Association or the Chiefs Association in Florida sending their thoughts and prayers. I mean, it truly goes to show you how when there's an officer who dies in the line of duty, how you get this support from all over the country and beyond. And we're going to see that along the procession, and you're seeing it right here as some of the images that we are seeing today. I want to take you, let's go out to Jatera McGee. She's about 9 miles from the funeral home where the burial will be held today at Arlington Memorial Gardens. Let's chat with Jatera. Jatera, can you hear me?
Yes, hi there, Cherie. A somber scene here at Arlington Memorial Gardens, and you can see what I'm seeing, that people are starting to show up to pay their respects. I'm not sure which department this group of people may be with, but this is the first large group of people that we've seen show up. I can tell you in the last several minutes, I saw several vehicles coming from a few local departments to get here ahead of the procession. Of course, every law enforcement agency in the area can't be a part of that procession. They have other duties, so some of them have already shown up here at the cemetery to at least be a part of this part of the celebration of life. In fact, a police officer with the Cincinnati Police Department called me a little bit ago telling me he was here, and I asked why, and he said, we just want to honor Officer Unwin and do everything we can to pay tribute. You can see what Officer Unwin will be welcomed with when he arrives here at his final resting place. 2 fire trucks, one with the North College Hill Fire Department, one with the Fairfield Fire Department, are holding up that American flag underneath of it, the thin blue line flag. At the front of this Memorial Gardens, they have gone above and beyond to welcome him. A large sign you can see saying, "We honor Officer Timothy J. Unwin with his birth date in August of '91 and the unfortunate day he died, March 31st of last week." I can tell you we have been hearing, as Karen and John have been talking about, from police departments all over the place. In fact, one security guard texted me this morning as he was seeing our coverage, and he said, just want you to know that I met this officer a couple times. He's responded in incidents I've been involved in the last few months, and he stayed after it was over just to talk to me about policing and about life itself. Clearly a really great guy. We've heard nothing but good things about him. I did want to read something to all of you that I found on Facebook that really struck me. We talk about the lives that these kinds of unfortunate tragedies impact and the various law enforcement agencies, the dispatchers who are truly impacted by unfortunate tragedies like this one. I came across a Facebook post from a local chaplain who wrote that he was one of the people who responded and had to give Unwin's family that unfortunate news that their son had passed away tragically in the line of duty. He writes, "They know something is horribly wrong, but they're praying with all of their heart. This is just a slight injury. Their loved one will be okay, but not this time. This early morning, we were the bearers of the worst news a parent could ever receive. Their child just wanted to help people, keep their community safe. That is what this officer was doing. He was on his way to help. Why did it end this way? We will never know. We know his mission on this earth was completed. He made a difference in people's lives." the impact that you see from one chaplain to one police officer to the various departments that we've seen show up from all across Ohio and other places speaks to how one life can impact so many people. And of course, we're going to hear from community members as well and people who lived in the Springfield Township community, in the Hamilton community. He was a corrections officer at the sheriff's office prior to that. This is an officer who impacted so many lives in such a short time in his short career in law enforcement, 2 years here in Springfield Township, 2 in Hamilton, and a few years with the sheriff's office prior to that. And as he's welcomed here in this procession, the last stop being the police department, there are blue ribbons like the one right beside me lining this route, volunteers taking their time the last few days to hang these up to remind everyone who drives past and everyone who's going through that procession that Tim Unwin mattered, that this community cared about him, and that this community cares about the entire department now mourning his loss. Mike and Cherie.
Jatera, unfortunately in our business, we focus on a few bad eggs here and there, bad teachers, bad officers, bad doctors, but 98% of them are noble and they get into it for the right reasons and they do great work. In the last handful of years, you've been fortunate enough to work with several, in fact, police agencies here in the area, whether it be about body cameras or funding or whatever. And I'm sure you've gotten close to them, and because of that, a unique perspective. Can you speak to maybe your thoughts when you heard what happened on Friday night, and maybe bring us into some of those conversations you've had with some of these police departments that you've been dealing with the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, Mike, I mean, it's just such a tragedy. Working the late shift, I wasn't awake when the crash first happened, but I woke up to text messages saying, oh my goodness, an officer was killed in that crash. Oh my goodness, my heart is broken. An officer died overnight. And I'm quickly trying to catch up with our mobile app and with our internal communications and realize what happened. And when you see the scene, when you see those photos from that crash, your heart just sinks. You don't have to be a member of law enforcement to see those images and just be heartbroken. And then to hear that not only was it Officer Tim Unwin who was killed in that crash, but also a civilian, and Mr. Dunson, and to hear his family who held a vigil over the weekend. And one thing that I found very notable, and one thing that the chief brought up as well, is that these two families who are going through the worst week of their lives cared about each other, and in their grief were asking how the other family was doing. I thought that was absolutely incredible. John London talked about meeting Dunson's family and that they were also asking and expressing their condolences and prayers for Officer Unwin's family, and the same was happening vice versa. I thought that was really incredible to see. We're starting to notice that more vehicles are showing up. I can see a sheriff's deputy at the front of this line. It looks like maybe some Cincinnati police officers, possibly lieutenants behind that vehicle. As I said, there are going to be police units showing up here ahead of that procession, and then of course we are going to see hundreds possibly of additional vehicles that are going to be involved in the procession. A very emotional, somber moment as they are traveling and then making that last stop, driving past the police department in Springfield Township for the last time before Officer Unwin is laid to rest here.
Jatera McGee is at Arlington Memorial Gardens, where the procession will make its way here. Any minute now, it's going to get started. Jatera, thank you so much. We'll be touching base with you and always appreciate your perspective. I know you get so close to the people who you cover, and today, tragically, it's a local police officer, Springfield Township officer Timothy Unwin, only 31 years old, local kid, grew up on the west side, and you're seeing right now the Hearst leave Springdale Funeral Home, firefighters paying salute to their brother in blue. And the procession will now, it's about 9 miles, almost 9 miles to get to Arlington Memorial Gardens there in Springfield Township. You are going to see dozens, if not hundreds, of police cruisers as well from all over greater Cincinnati, not just Springfield Township, not just Hamilton Police, where Officer Unwin also worked for 2 years, and not just Hamilton County, where he was a corrections officer, but you're going to be seeing police cruisers, brothers and sisters in blue from all over greater Cincinnati and possibly beyond. Oftentimes you see officers come up from Tennessee or Indianapolis. If you're just joining us, this is the procession for 31-year-old Springfield Township Officer Timothy Unwin, a 4-year veteran in the police field. He died on Friday, the early morning hours of Friday morning in a car crash in North College Hill at the intersection of Hamilton Avenue and Center Ridge Avenue, right near Ronald Reagan. Officer Unwin was responding to an officer needs assistance call when sadly he collided with an innocent driver who had just dropped his brother off at home and then was leaving the local Kroger there in North College Hill, where both of them ended up dying in that collision. And Jatera was talking about that other innocent driver, and that's been the unique thing about this funeral here today. Springfield Township very much wanting to pay tribute also to William Dunson, who was only 50 years old. He was married to for almost 27 years, married to his wife, and had 4 children, including a son with special needs. And the Springfield Township Police Department very much wanting to honor him today as well. And in fact, William Dunson's family was at the funeral. There was a touching moment right before the service, actually, where Chief Bly and another officer hugging the Dunson family coming up and giving them a huge hug before that service. And Mr. Dunson remembered as a loving husband and father too, someone who was very, very involved, just an honorable man, we're told. His wife Erica telling us that, quote, "I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't even know what the next second holds, but he loved me. He loved me." William Dunson will be laid to rest, we should mention, next Saturday, the 15th. And we will cover that, of course, for you as well. Today is about Officer Timothy Unwin, again, who died far too young in the line of duty on Friday morning 1 week ago.
John London and Karen Johnson are right there at the beginning of where this procession is getting started. Guys, you see people standing at attention, you see some salutes, and you can basically hear a pin drop right there with all of those people around. It's very, very quiet as this thing gets underway. Your reflections as you're watching this?
Well, you saw the hearse a moment ago, Mike, come out, and now this long procession, the hearse carrying the body of the man in the arena, as Chief Bly called him. In listening to Cherie talk about William Dunson, I know from meeting some of the family members that day, it strikes me that just knowing what they said about him and what he was all about, his church, his community, North College Hill, helping his family, helping others, he would be the type of fellow that would be out there along the parade route today to honor this fallen officer. One of the big questions that is out there, Mike and Cherie and Karen, is how this happened. It's in the minds of everyone who is around here today. Today is all about honoring this officer, but of course, you know, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is here. They're well represented. They're investigating this crash as to how this occurred. What we know is, from what Chief Bly says, is that Officer Unwin was responding to a call that an officer needed assistance, and he was on his way there, but we don't know anything else. And this investigation, we are told, would be perhaps the first details would be towards the end of this week. If it doesn't come tomorrow, it would certainly be after that, sometime next week or later.
And like you said, John, though, today is about honoring Officer Tim Unwin. And as you're watching the tail end of the procession pull out of Spring Grove Funeral Home, it's heading east on Spring Grove Avenue, north on Whitten Road. It'll go west on Compton Road, passing the Springfield Township Police Department, and then arrive at Arlington Memorial Gardens. Again, we're anticipate this to be about a mile long, this procession. But if you live along the procession route, now is probably the time to step outside if you want to pay respects, if you want to honor Officer Tim Unwin. Most of the procession, most of the cars, the vehicles, they just left Spring Grove Funeral Home. And
they'll be closing roads down as they go. They have a lot closed already. It's really an impressive sight when you see the police lights lining up all the way down. Spring Grove Avenue here is closed for roughly maybe 3/4 of a mile as as this procession gets underway now and makes its way up Winton Road.
And just to look back on what we heard this morning from Chief Rick Bly and also family, friends, longtime friends, childhood friends of Officer Tim Unwin, you know, there were moments where obviously people were tearing up. Then there were moments of laughter because we got a sense of who he was as a person, a lot of energy, goofiness. There were smiles in the crowd when they told stories. They told funny stories. But I think from here on out, just looking back on some of the other police officer funerals we covered, this is now the time where it's going to be the most difficult. They'll arrive at Arlington Memorial Gardens and the graveside service, and the one thing that always gets me is when they do the last call, and that's something we'll probably hear at the cemetery.
Micah Shree will send it back to you from here along Spring Grove.
All right, John and Karen, thanks so much for your perspective. They're at the spot where we had the service this morning, and then the procession just took off right on time at noon. Along the route, we have several reporters, including WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak. She's about 3 miles in, West North Bend Road. Danielle, good morning to you, and tell us what you're seeing. Are people lining the streets around you, or any vehicles even getting close to you by now? They left around noon here, the first vehicles here from the spot where the service was held at Spring Grove Funeral Home.
Mike, we just saw 3 Cincinnati police cruisers head this way, and we're starting to see more people line the streets. I'm going to push you down this way. You can see there's people down that way. And just a little bit ago, we saw a woman holding yellow flowers. And as you can see, officers are starting to close this intersection here of Winton and North Bend. Definitely a very heavy and emotional day. People have their phones out wanting to pay respects to Officer Tim Unwin. And if you take a look over here, you're also going to see that there's fire departments here. We have the Elmwood Place Fire Department. They're here trying to also pay respects. Definitely a very heavy day out here as everyone is getting ready for their procession. I know Brian Hamrick earlier mentioned the sea of blue ribbons that are lining this procession path that spans multiple miles. We're about 3 miles into that procession, and like I mentioned, people are starting to come out here to pay their respects, and they plan to salute Officer Unwin when he does come by. So definitely a very heavy day, a very somber day, but people are starting to come out here and just wanting to pay respects to this officer. But we'll continue to keep an eye out here for you. Once again, as you can see, officers are starting to close down this area, but it's definitely a lot of traffic still happening. But as soon as that procession comes this way, we'll be sure to let you know.
All right, Danielle Dindak, thank you so much. Back to you in a little bit. In the meantime, you're looking live on your screen at a fleet of vehicles there with lights flashing at the Spring Grove Funeral Home as all of those vehicles from different police agencies are lining up and getting ready to leave and head to the final resting place for Officer Tim Unwin, who died at the age of 31. The crash happened late Thursday night of last week, and he died just after midnight on Friday morning. I would just encourage you, if you are along the route, I know death is an uncomfortable thing, and a lot of times you feel uncomfortable and you want to stay in your home. But if you're bordering on and you're hedging on maybe getting out there, just do it, because it is something that the family, it is something that officers want to see. It is a show of respect. And if you're thinking about doing it, don't shy away from it. Again, I know it sometimes can be uncomfortable, but it's something that the police family wants to see you do. We bring back in Gene Ferreira, who is a guy who spent 50 years in Cincinnati policing between the UC Police Department and the Cincinnati Police Department. Talk about the planning, Gene, that goes into something like this to try to coordinate something with so many different agencies, so many different people, and all of these different vehicles. Talk about how quickly they pull this thing together.
The logistics is overwhelming, truly overwhelming. You saw the one scene there of all those flashing blue lights with all those, just determining who gets what spot.
Right.
Starting with obviously the hearse with the body of Officer Unwin, and then the family. And then after that, the first official cars were Springfield Township, which is appropriate since that was his department. But then you have to figure out, where do we put all of the other cars that are going to be there? And then there's an honor guard. And I'm very proud of the fact that in this region we have something called the Hamilton County Police Association, which was formed in 1937 and one of the first in the country. There's 40-some law enforcement agencies in Hamilton County. Each of them has their own jurisdiction and their own authorities, but they come together to be able to share resources. In many cases, small departments, we have some departments that just only have a handful of officers. So if something really big comes, they need help. And there's this mutual aid. And so we do that here as a matter of routine. The mutual aid is there. But the Honor Guard, when you see the Honor Guard, they're in uniform, and the uniform is exactly the same for every member of the Honor Guard. But their hats are unique to whatever department they come from. But they train. They actually have to train to have that unison and the precision of when they go, I'm sure when they take the casket from the hearse to the burial site, the Honor Guard will be there, and they'll be marching in step, and it'll be, all of that takes planning. And it's unfortunate that we have to plan as often as we have here recently, but that's just an overwhelming task to figure out who's going to be where. Along the parade route, there'll be officers at intersections working the traffic lights to make sure that the procession can go through without being interrupted. The timing on it, as you said, noon was when they said the procession would start, and by golly, noon it started. Just all of the logistics of that takes a lot of effort by a lot of people.
Gene, we've done this too many times in the last just 5 years. 4 officers killed in the line of duty here locally. January of 2019, Colerain Township Officer Dale Woods killed while protecting a car crash scene, helping with traffic there. Speeding driver ends up hitting and killing him. February of 2019, Claremont County Detective Bill Brewer shot and killed after a 12-hour standoff as he was trying to take down the man there. March of 2019, March of 2020, most recently, Springdale police officer Kaya Grant, who was killed while trying to put out stop sticks. And now we're having this, once again, 4th officer in the last 5 years killed in the line of duty. Springfield Township Officer Tim Unwin, who was killed tragically in the late night hours last Thursday into Friday morning as he was responding to an officer needs assistance call. You're watching live here as the procession begins. Gene, talk to me a little bit about how emotional this is for you as a fellow officer who, you know, we've had to do this too often, and yet when you see the massive amounts of blue lights flashing and this procession, truly it gives you chills. It brings tears to my eyes as I'm watching it, thinking of this young officer, only 31 years old, never had kids, not married, and yet his parents have to bury their child today.
Absolutely. I don't, unfortunately my mother buried a foster child and my brother, and she said, you're not supposed to bury your children. So I can certainly relate to Officer Unwin's family. It is a real tragedy. And to think about all the things that he'll never have the chance to experience. Marriage, children, and all those things, that being that young adds another layer to what's tragic to start with.
Talk about the honor if you were one of those motorcycle police officers protecting that hearse as it's driving up North Bend Road as we speak, making its way along the 9-mile procession route. When the chief of police in your department comes to you and says, Bob, Sam, whoever it is, you're going to ride right next to the family. You are going to ride right next to Officer Unwin. Is it oftentimes somebody who is close to him, or is it, how is that chosen oftentimes?
Well, obviously, most cases, the officers will volunteer for that duty. And if they have a relationship, again, trying to figure out the order of things, you would give preference to officers who had a relationship with that officer. But everybody feels a relationship. I've said before, we're all brothers and sisters, and I was very proud when the Hamilton County Police Association started the Honor Guard. I had several officers at the University of Cincinnati that wanted to be part of that. And of course, then we had to let them have time to practice. And so I was happy that the University of Cincinnati was okay with doing that. But to watch the officers that are there, you're looking at this, and I'm feeling pretty proud I still often say we in our, even though I've been retired over a decade. I don't think you ever really stop being a member of that. I'm sure it's the same for fire and the same for military. But to watch that procession coming there, there's just something about being a small part of something that large.
You're watching the procession right now as Officer Unwin's hearse with the casket inside is making its way now to Arlington Memorial Gardens. Jatera McGee will be there to bring you more of that coverage. We have reporters all along the procession route. You've been hearing all morning from Karen Johnson and John London, who were live at Spring Grove Funeral Home. And then Danielle Dindak is about 3 miles in along Winton and North Bend Road. Brian Hamrick is about 6.5 miles along the processional route. It's 9 miles total, but he's outside of the Springfield Township Police Department, and we'll continue to be checking in with them as well. This is such a touching tribute. It looks as though you're seeing, yes, there are firefighters that we're seeing standing outside where Danielle was, but also look at this. Just, it looks like neighbors, people within the community, taking time out of their day to come out, hold an American flag as this man is doing, to just pay respects to presumably an officer he never has met.
You know, one of the most powerful camera angles we had was that walking bridge right by St. Vivian, the Catholic church there, the walking bridge over Winton Road here, where you can see all of those vehicles in line with one another so perfectly with their lights flashing this morning. Just after noon, if you're just joining us here on a Thursday morning, and we are honoring the man behind badge number 286 in the Springfield Township Police Department. Died the 31st of March after that collision at an intersection not too far from the Ronald Reagan Highway the other morning. News of his death, Timothy Unwin's death, spread quickly. Officers all across the region, across America, jumping into action. Some wanted to attend the services today. Some wanted to be there for the Springfield Township Police Department. Some are watching from their home right now, probably in tears as we speak. We have heard, Cherie and I, from so many people who adorn the blue and wear that badge here over the last couple of days, speaking to us about the importance of a day like this, a day of reflection, a day to step back, a day where the community gets a chance to honor the men and women who protect us in our communities. Again, this profession, this noble profession, has been through quite a bit here over the last couple of years all across America. They're working so hard to bridge that gap between the communities here in Cincinnati, Springfield Township, Westchester, wherever you go here in greater Cincinnati, trying to have those neighborhood night outs, those cookouts, those opportunities for officers to get out in the community and to shake hands and be at sporting events and show them that, in fact, that they are human and they care and they love you, and it's okay to love them back.
If you are just joining us, we are in nonstop coverage here of Springfield Township Officer Timothy Unwin. His funeral began around 10 o'clock, lasted for less than an hour, and then it was the whole organization of getting the procession just right, getting people in place, and now the procession is making its way to Arlington Memorial Gardens, where there are countless, as you can see here from these pictures, flashing lights and police and fire crews from all over greater Cincinnati and beyond. This is a 31-year-old officer who was killed in the line of duty a week ago, late Thursday night, responding to an officer needs assistance call when he collided with an innocent bystander, another driver, there in North College Hill. Officer Unwin he leaves behind his parents, Glenn and Dawn Unwin, a brother, Greg, sister Kim, brother-in-law Ryan, and extended family. Everybody talking today at the funeral service. We heard from several. We heard from the police chief there in Springfield Township, as well as several very close, longtime friends, and then a buddy who has worked with him throughout his law enforcement career, his 4 years within the Hamilton County Corrections as he was a corrections officer, and then his 4 years as a police officer. And everyone just talking about what a great person he was, never critical of people, always positive, trying to make everyone around him better. They talked about the guy who was just fixated on being fit and working out, and how he loved sports cars, loved serving his community, and took such pride in being a police officer. So hardworking, They said in his obituary that he liked to work hard, play hard, and that's who we're remembering today. And if you missed the funeral service, it was so touching. Lots of course, tears, but also a lot of laughter as they were remembering this young police officer who was filled with so much life.
Gene, we hear so often about military folks and PTSD. We don't talk about it as often when it comes to police officers and people in this line of work, but it exists in a big way. Can you speak to what happens inside? This is not the Cincinnati Police Department. This is a smaller department, Springfield Township. This is like, I mean, they're all families. We talk about the men and women in blue being a family, but this is a small family. You could practically get around a dinner table. So when you have tragedy that strikes in the middle of a department, how do they help the fellow officers? What does Chief Bly do to try to make sure that these folks are taken care of and it doesn't break them, a lot of them young officers in their own right, as they move forward in their careers?
Yeah, as you and I had talked earlier, that every police officer knows that there's the possibility that you're going to be in a life-threatening situation, and that not all police officers get to retire. Some of them are going to die in the line of duty, but it's not something you think about. You push it kind of to the back of your mind. Then when this happens, there's no ignoring it. I mean, it's there. And so as a chief, your job is to pull that department together, to let all of those officers know. And that's why it helps the chief when he can point out here and say, see all of that? That's part of our family, and that's our support. That's really, it's interesting that you say that, because as you've said frequently, I've been around a long time. And when I started, we didn't talk about it. It was somehow thought as a weakness if you admitted that there were emotional, psychological problems that police officers run into dealing with what we deal with every day. And we're only now finally starting to recognize it, admit it, and deal with it. So I think it's easier today than it was 40, 50 years ago, when the officer just kind of, everybody went off on their own. And now to be able to share the grief, and to, as you saw at Spring Grove there, where officers were hugging each other and arms around each other and just coming together.
And Gene, I think it's a good thing that we display our emotions. I think we talked, my father was a military man, a World War II guy, also in law enforcement. He never told me that he loved me until I was in college. And then there was a wave of emotion after that where he was trying to make up for lost time. And he always talked to me about, boy, I wish when I was younger, I wish I could have told more stories. I wish I could have shared more experiences. And I think that this next generation is getting that. And that is really important. Don't suppress your emotions, because it really does hinder you in the long run.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just so important. You can't deal with something that you refuse to acknowledge. So I'm happy and proud to see in my profession finally now getting around to saying, hey, this is real, and we're human beings. We all want to think we're the Caped Crusader and all of that, but we're human beings. And so the human emotions are going to come in, and I'm looking out there and seeing that. And that means so much to a police officer, to see that kind of support from other officers, but even from the community. That it just means so much.
Gene Ferrara, former chief of police for the University of Cincinnati, before that a Cincinnati police officer, 50 years of experience, now retired, and yet still so deeply involved in and rooted within the law enforcement community here locally, giving us his expertise of what we're watching here today. And we're going to go to Brian Hamrick here in just a moment or two. Once the hearse carrying 31-year-old Officer Timothy Unwin arrives in front of the Springfield Township Police Department, no doubt that is going to be an emotional moment for those officers, including the Springdale officers who are holding down that post and going out on runs today if need be. Right now you're looking at this procession here, and so many of the people, neighbors coming out lining this procession route. How do you feel about that, Gene, when you see people who have absolutely no connection to law enforcement paying their respects?
As it just means so much, because law enforcement, the salaries are pretty good, but nobody that I know gets into law enforcement for the money. It is truly a calling. I mean, the officers that are there want to serve. It's called public service. And so they want to serve, and to see that community give back that support. I know for me, it chokes me up just to watch it. And I'm sure if you talk to those officers that are in that parade when they go by and see those people in that position of holding up the flags and the saluting as the casket goes by, all of that, it pulls things together, and that's just so important.
Gene, as I was saying earlier, and I need to just correct something slightly here, we've talked about how we've done this too often, and I said we have had 4 local line of duty deaths in the last 5 years. It's actually 5. In 2020, we also had Corporal Adam McMillan with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office who ended up dying. He was on patrol, on duty, crashed, collided with a bus in Anderson Township. He fought for a couple of weeks and sadly died from his injuries. So in 5 years, we have laid 5 local officers to rest who've died in the line of duty. And I'm always amazed, and I always get choked up when I see the outpouring of support. Let's toss it over to Brian Hamrick. He's at the 6.5-mile mark right in front of the Springfield Township Police Department where the procession is just passing by. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Cherie. Well, the procession has arrived here on Compton Road for the Springfield Township Police Department. You can see this is the leading edge of it as it comes down over the hill here to the police department, which is in this lower valley here. There's a road that goes up to the police department about a quarter-mile long off of the road. We're told they will not go there. We're told that the procession will come down the hill, and when it gets in front of the police department hill, it will stop. It will pause for a moment, and there will be a moment here before it then continues on to Arlington Memorial Gardens. Now, Arlington Memorial Gardens is about 2 miles from here, and we have seen a number of police departments already headed that way. So this is the leading edge, the first 2 vehicles, Cincinnati police officers who are leading this procession up this way. And then you'll see this long line of motorcycles you've been watching throughout this morning as they arrive here in front of the Springfield Township Police Department here. So as we see them move along, and then you'll see the vehicles, the hearse and the other vehicles involved in this as they come here. They're all aware of the situation and what's going to happen up here. We have officers. When we turn the camera around, you'll see the other officers here are from Springdale, who were part of the, they wanted to be part of the support here, and the chief is here, and they wanted to be part of this ceremony and part of the support here. And they are pausing now, and we'll just allow that to happen. Procession now moving on. A moment of silence. The officers here saluting, paying their final respects. The silence spoke more than any words could out here. So we see this very, very long line of vehicles and officers from all over the region, all over the state. Actually, you'll have people here from all over the country who have come to be part of this, to pay their respects to an officer who's given the ultimate sacrifice for his community. It's a solemn moment when they pass by this department here, the Springfield Township officers. An emotional moment for them. And I know that the Springdale chief told me he wanted the chief here to see him. And he just did. Out here along the road, because he knew this is exactly what they had done for him. This same department, Springfield Township, had been there for him. Colerain had been there for him whenever Kaya Grant was killed, their officer. And they wanted to make sure that he stood right here at the front of this police department, the chief of Springdale, and was seen, Chief Wells, and was seen by the chief and the other officers, all these officers you see passing here now with Springfield Township, that they would realize that they have their backs, they have their support here. And so that meant, he said, I cannot tell you how much that meant to me whenever we came by and we saw that support that we got, and he just wanted to be a part of that. And we've seen a number of other people here as well. Trustees are here, former trustees, other police officers, some citizens who just showed up. People just wanted to be a part of this. Look like former officers are here who are just in this one spot. We see the City of Hamilton now Police Department. That's the other department where he worked. We see now their cruisers coming by, paying their respects. And so it's a very emotional moment. I know for the chief here, for the other folks that are here lining the streets here. And it's a short distance now over to the cemetery at Arlington Memorial Gardens, where he'll be laid to rest. And Sheree, I'm going to send it back to you guys for a minute.
Brian Hamrick, live outside of the Springfield Township Police Department, where you're almost at a loss for words when you watch this and know that those are Springdale police officers manning the post there. They were in this position in March of 2020 when they lost a fellow officer of their own, Kaya Grant. Brian was talking about her. Young, again, similar situation, young police officer. She was putting down stop sticks when she was hit and killed, and now the chief of police in Springdale wanting to be present there to pay his respects, to let Chief Bly with Springfield Township know we are here for you, and supporting their men in blue and supporting the Unwin family. I can only imagine, Mike, what that is like for the Unwin family to drive past your son's police department to see, first of all, the procession, which is truly unbelievable. We see it every time, sadly, when we cover a line of duty death. To give you a little bit of perspective how long this is. So right now what you're seeing, this is right there in Springfield Township, right there at Winton Road, about 6.5 miles in along the procession route. We are told from our crews all the way back another 3+ miles along Winton Road and North Bend, that the procession is that far back. It is that long, a 3-mile, as you can imagine, procession filled with friends, family members, and an army of emergency workers wanting to pay their respects.
And Gene, this has all been so emotional and so powerful all day long, but nothing more powerful than that moment where they stopped there outside the Springfield Township Police Department, and you saw the Springdale officers, including the chief of the Springdale Department, who have jumped into action to cover for all of those folks so they could go and support their fallen officer. As you're watching some of this, and there they are again as we pan the camera over, those are the Springdale police officers and the chief of the Springdale Police Department. He spoke earlier with Brian Hamrick about how important this day was to him, because when they lost an officer, Kaya Grant, a few years back, everybody in the community stepped up and helped them celebrate somebody in their blue family. As you watch some of this, Gene, play out, you were talking about the precision of something like this and how difficult it is actually to be a part of this escort team. These motorcycle officers having to ride at such a slow speed and keep it balanced and keep it in a straight line. And it sounds silly because a lot of them have been riding motorcycles for a long time and even driving a vehicle for a long time, but there's a little bit of pressure that I'm sure you put on yourself on a day like today when you're in such a special spot along this route.
Talking with officers that I know that did funeral escorts, and they used to drive motorcycles in the line of duty, sometimes on emergency runs, etc. But they would tell me that the most difficult was funeral escorts, because keeping the sickle balanced at a slow speed and then being able to maintain that. I mean, I've watched, there's 6 of them, 3 on each side of the hearse, and they're staying at exactly the same distance from the hearse, the same distance from each other. That takes practice. I mean, it looks like, oh, well, there's nothing to that. That really, it takes some time and some skill to be able to do that.
The images are powerful this morning. I want to take you back over to Arlington Memorial Gardens, where Officer Unwin will be buried in a short while here, and to give you some perspective too of just how long this procession is. All of the planning that goes into a day like today. The graveside service was supposed to begin at 12:30. We're now at almost 12:40, and it's going to be much later. It's just there are so many people who have turned out, officers from around greater Cincinnati wanting to pay their respects. Jatera McGee is there at the Arlington Memorial Gardens where the burial will be held here shortly. And Jatera, have they arrived to the cemetery yet? Tell us what you're seeing.
No procession yet, Cherie, but I can tell you that the community has been showing up. There's a handful of people that are sprinkled along the sidewalk here outside of Arlington Memorial Gardens, and behind the camera where you can't see but I can are about a dozen or so people who have shown up in the last hour. I can show you that there is a police presence that's happening down the road, that there's several Cincinnati police officers and Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies who have just lined up, and now I believe we may be seeing or preparing to see the very beginning of that procession. But I can tell you on the other side of the road, we can see Cincinnati police officers, Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies standing in a solemn line, getting ready to greet this procession. I would imagine, as I've been talking to people who have come out just to pause their day and be here and support the Springfield Township community and police department, that this is going to be an emotional time as they come up over the hill and see a North College Hill fire truck, a Fairfield fire truck, both holding the American flag and then the police flag, the thin blue line flag. It's a lot to take in. And when you see the support from various departments and from various community members who took time out of their day to be here, it's incredible. I was just chatting with one woman, and she was like, I didn't realize I was going to get emotional, but when someone passes away, when you get that call in the middle of the night, you want to know that people are going to be there for you. And I didn't know this officer. I didn't know Officer Unwin. I didn't know his family or his colleagues, but I just want them to look out and see people here to support them. I can hear the rumblings of some motorcycles, so this procession may be getting closer, and it is. Seeing the beginning of this procession now, the motorcycles ushering in. I'm also looking as about a couple dozen police officers are standing in salute to welcome the procession here to Arlington Memorial Gardens. Let's just take a moment and take this in. You know, these are the scenes that we talk about. There's many of them, often tragedies, that these are the days police officers don't want to come. We're watching as cruisers with Springfield Township, Hamilton, moment of silence there as the hearse just passed us and is now entering Arlington Memorial Gardens. And as Officer Unwin is entering the cemetery here, there are people standing by holding flags, holding their phones to get photos, several veterans that have come out to show their support. They, of course, understand tragedies like this all too well as well. On the side of all of these cars that are passing, you can see on some of them when they're on the right side, there are stickers honoring Officer Unwin. That here's one right here, John, you can see on that car that sticker honoring Officer Unwin and his badge number. That's something that we'll see for weeks, for months to come. And you can imagine if you're an officer with this department or even with another and you see a vehicle like that, it will remind you of the support that they had to feel on a day like this. Several of those Springfield Township cruisers passing us right now. And I'm looking in the cruisers as well. You all may not be able to see inside of them, but a lot of these officers have their hands held up to their mouths, very solemn. Not many of them are speaking to each other, just taking this important moment in as they prepare to lay their colleague, their brother in blue, to rest in just a few minutes. Mike and Cherie, this is one of those memorable moments that we talk about. Everyone stops what they're doing. No one along the route is really saying much, just watching, paying their respects, being present in the moment. And we talked about this being a relatively small police department, but we're seeing, dozens of Springfield Township cruisers, just speaking to the impact that this has had, that there are dozens of officers who will be mourning Officer Unwin for weeks and months to come, long after we've stopped talking about Officer Unwin, long after the ribbons and the blue bows around town have come down. They are still going to be experiencing this and trying to heal from this difficult loss.
Tara, we're going to bring back in Jean here just for a second. And Jean, unfortunately, you've been in this very spot many times before, standing in a cemetery as you prepare to say goodbye to one of your colleagues. I just wanted to talk to you about using this moment as a catalyst for change for the rest of your life. If you've been somebody who's been on shift with Officer Unwin, if you've been somebody who's shared time with him in the police department, there was a famous scene in Saving Private Ryan where there's a man at the end of his life where he's standing in the cemetery in France and he says to his family, "Was I a good man?" It's one of the most emotional scenes. And what he's talking about is he lost a lot of his buddies in the war, and it was his job to live the rest of his life with purpose. So when you have a young officer, maybe 35 or 40 or 28, who works with Officer Unwin, talk about getting in their minds. A lot of times they take pause after the death of a colleague and they say, it's incumbent upon me now to live for him and to live a good life.
Yes, I can remember as I was starting my career and in recruit class and being told that every one of us represents every other one of us, which is pretty heavy when you're a young man starting out of recruit school. But I can certainly see that during my career, that whatever one of us does, that represents all of us to the community at large. And so here's Officer Unwin, who gave his life in the line of duty, and you can't do any more than that. And how the rest of us then owe it to him to carry that forward and to also represent all of the other officers. It just being a part of something larger than yourself. That's the only way I can say it. It's just, there's no feeling like that. To see what you're seeing here, or even if you're just working a detail for a football game, And you're looking around and there's other people with that same uniform taking different parts of that security force. And to know that I'm just some small part of that larger community, that law enforcement community.
Jean, you were telling us as Jatera was talking, she was referring to badge number 286. Talk to us about, it's not just about today, how fellow officers will continue to honor Officer Tim Unwin in the weeks to come, and also what's going to happen now to his number.
I don't know Springfield Township, but I'd be surprised if they don't follow a tradition. And that tradition is if a law enforcement officer is killed in the line of duty, that badge is normally retired. Well, I shouldn't say normally, made often. And that badge number is retired. It will not be issued again. And for now, every police officer in this region is wearing a mourning ribbon across, a black ribbon across their badge. And that will stay on there for a given period of time. Usually it's like 30 days to honor that and to make that connection and recognition again that all of us share this burden. And that's big.
Oddly enough, I was at the gym the other day and there was a firefighter working out right next to me, and they had a t-shirt on and they had a black stripe over their, firefighter badge on their t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm certain that it was for Officer Unwin. It's not just the police community today honoring this young officer, but also all emergency workers. You've heard our reporters referring to the police dispatchers. I mean, you can only imagine being that dispatcher who was on call Thursday night, gets that call that first there's an officer who needs assistance, and then secondly, then another officer is in this horrible crash involving an innocent driver, and that officer needs assistance.
Interesting that you bring that up, because when I was at the University of Cincinnati, the dispatchers were part of the department. In Hamilton County, most of the agencies are dispatched by the Hamilton County Communications Center. But what we failed to recognize for many years was what the dispatchers are going through. Because those of us who were out on the street got to go to the scene and we knew what was going on and we could see what was happening. The dispatchers up there wondering. They've made the dispatch to send the officers, but how's it going? What is it out there?
Is this the family now we're seeing? If you look up on your monitor, Gene, oftentimes they have him in a vehicle like that. Is that Officer Unwin's family that they would have?
It does look like it, and you're starting to see little kids too. They have an
I'm going to say
family.
that part of that is, yes, there's usually a vehicle right behind the hearse that's the family. And I didn't see its position, but I think those buses, vans, if you will, were in that position. So I would say that's probably true.
So this procession stepped off maybe around noon or 12:05 from where the Spring Grove service was held, about 9 miles back. Now speak, as we watch the family presumably walking over to where Officer Unwin will be laid to rest, speak to the difficulty of getting all of these vehicles, this basically a 5-mile snake of police vehicles and motorcycles and cars and vans and all kinds of things into parking spots and getting everybody coordinated now here at this end for this service.
Yeah, well, yes, as you said, if you string them out on a roadway, there's a place for all of them. But now you've got to position them here, and most of those officers are going to want to be near the burial site. So you now have to figure out how we're going to set them up and where we're going to park them and to get them off of the road, and that's 3 miles worth of vehicles at the cemetery.
Again, the burial service was supposed to start, or they thought it could start, around 12:30. We are well beyond that, and what you're watching right now, if you are just tuning in, this appears to be the family. You see them, some of them taking their seat. It looked like possibly mother and father who were there, Glenn and Dawn Unwin, also his brother Greg, sister Kim, brother-in-law Ryan, some little kids, all getting out of the van behind the hearse, and they're starting to make their way up to the burial site there. Lots of hugs going on. You can only imagine the emotion going on for this family here. Jean, talk to us about what else we're going to see here at this burial service once they are able to finally file in the hundreds of police cruisers that are behind the hearse and these emergency workers. What are we going to see here at the burial service?
Well, it will be ceremonies. When they bring the casket out, I'm going to guess that the honor guard will escort it from the hearse to the actual burial plot. I'm going to say, based on past experiences, that the bagpiper will be there blowing the dirge, which is always emotional for me. The bagpipes are kind of emotional anyway, but to see that. And then there will be the ceremony there. There will be probably a bugler's going to blow taps. Then there's the casket will be draped in an American flag, which will be taken off and folded in a very specific manner. And then that folded flag in a triangular shape will be given probably to the mother.
Cherie, I wanted to ask you something as we're watching what's transpiring here at Arlington Memorial Cemetery, getting ready to lay to rest the man behind badge 286, Officer Tim Unwin, Springfield Township Police Department. All family bonds are special between parents and their kids. I don't know if there's one that's a stronger bond than a mother and her little boy. And you have 3 little boys, and I've seen mama bears in action over the years, and how protective they are of their kids and how much they love, and they do anything for their sons. As a mom who unfortunately has met a lot of people on their worst days, can you even imagine what Dawn Unwin, mother of Tim, is going through today? Her son, only 31 years of age, as a mom of 3 young boys. I know that your worst fear is something happening, to one of your kids, and unfortunately, the worst thing that could have happened happened to this mom.
I think I can speak for every mother out there that we can't even begin to imagine. Few can, thankfully, few can understand what Dawn and the Unwin family is going through. But it was the first thing, Mike, that I thought of today. We've been covering this now since last week. And when I woke up today, knowing we were coming in here for this extended coverage, I thought, I cannot imagine as a mom deciding what I'm going to wear to go to my son's funeral. I really can't put that into words, and my heart aches for this family. I said earlier that I have 2 cousins, one who's a Cincinnati police officer, one who is with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and I can tell you that every time there is an officer in danger within the city limits, within the county limits, I think, oh my goodness, please say it's not a family member of mine, let alone, a child of mine. And so my heart goes out to the Unwin family. I was a crime reporter long before I was ever a news anchor, and you get very close with these officers when you're working with them day in and day out. There are so many good men and women out there who care deeply about the community they cover. They meet business owners, they meet families who have strife, who are involved in domestic situations too often, that whether it's domestic violence or whatever's going on within families in that community, they become embedded in that community. I can tell you my cousins went into it for all the right reasons. They get very connected with the children, with the teenagers in the communities that they cover, and want to help them. They bring them Christmas gifts. They take them on as their own children. And so when you see a line of duty like this, it just makes my heart ache as a mom. And I don't even want to begin to imagine what they're going through. And it is not, Mike, just about today. That's what I thought of. I thought this family will be surrounded by love and support from these police departments, from locally and beyond, today and in the weeks to come. But then they have to then have Easter this Sunday, celebrate in some way, Tim Unwin's what would be his birthday in August. What will Christmas look like later this year? You just don't understand it until your family has been there. And so to say your thoughts and prayers go out to them, it's just not enough because they suffer just an unthinkable loss right now. I mean, 31 years old is just far too young for a guy who just went out that day trying to help another police officer and sadly was killed in a car crash.
And Gene, I wanted to bring up that perspective because at the end of the day, there is a lot of pomp and circumstance, and it is beautiful and it is powerful, but at the end of the day, you cannot forget about the people most impacted on a day like this and beyond, and that is the family, and that is Glenn and Dawn, the dad and mom, and Greg and Kim, the brother and sister, and all these close friends we heard from in the service earlier today. If you're religious out there and you want to say a prayer, do so. If you're not religious, maybe just think about him for a few moments and maybe decide to do something special in this officer's honor. But again, it's important for our community as a whole and for the policing community to wrap their collective arms around this family, this immediate family who you're seeing now gathered under that tent at the Arlington Memorial Gardens, where unfortunately they have an hour or two here left to say their goodbyes. And then, obviously their life changed forever on the 31st of March, but this is just a solemn reminder of that finality.
It is, and for whatever it is worth to that family, officers will be talking about Officer Unwin. I can remember back, the first officer that was killed in the line of duty that in my time was Donald Martin, who was killed in March of 1961, and I started as a cadet in September. And every officer that has been killed since then that we still talk about. We still talk about Handorf, we still talk about Bertzel, we still talk about Bennington and Seaford, and you were talking about when they had the hearse actually stop in front of Spring. The one that came to my mind was Sonny Kim in that funeral procession when they went past the dojo, where his kids that he trained came out. I still get choked up.
Cincinnati officer Sonny
So
Kim.
he will live on in the lore of law enforcement in this region. Other officers that work with him or were here today will still be talking about Tim Unwin.
You were referring to Cincinnati officer Sonny Kim. That was 2015.
Yeah.
Responding to a report of a man with a gun, the suspect opened fire when Officer Kim arrived. He served that Cincinnati Police Department. He was ambushed. He was on the force 27 years, left behind a wife and 3 kids. I remember exactly what you're talking about. He taught Taekwondo, I believe. And when the hearse pulled in front of the Taekwondo facility where he taught, all those little kids who came out in their white dojo uniforms to pay their respects. And no doubt he is still talked about in that community. In fact, if I remember that, the way that that unfolded correctly, Officer Kim, in an attempt to protect the gunman's mother, did not fire because the mother was in between him and the gunman, and he didn't want to risk shooting her, and in turn, he ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
We are watching right now as friends and family members and fellow officers gather here around the burial site. This is it's going to take a while because we have hundreds of police officers who are trying to find parking spots and line up to surround the burial site here. A lot of the white hats that you're seeing right there are Cincinnati police officers who arrived early.
Cherie, let's bring Jatera McGee back in. She's not too far away from the final resting place of Officer Tim Unwin here as the procession has made its way all the way from Spring Grove Funeral Home to Arlington Memorial Cemetery. So quiet right now, Jatera, and just such an emotional few moments as we saw the family get off of that van and gather, and now everybody getting into place for the final ceremony at the graveside. Jatera.
Yeah, I mean, it is, it's solemn. It's a lot to take in, Mike. And it's just incredible that the last time I talked to you all several minutes ago, we were showing you the beginning of this procession heading into Arlington Memorial Gardens. And we are still seeing out here cruiser after cruiser after cruiser. I'm watching right now as several officers with the Colerain Township Police Department are heading in. And of course, that tragedy involving one of their own, Dale Woods, was just a couple of years ago, back in 2019. And it was heartbreaking. And I've had people along the route that I've been talking to bring up that and say that it feels like we keep going through this. We just went through Kaya Grant, and some of them that are here along the route, standing on the sidewalk showing their support, went out to stand along the procession line then, and they're back out here just a couple of years later. I have seen a police presence from Kentucky, from up in Dayton, from some areas I haven't even personally heard of. I don't know how far they came to be here today and show their support. And it's interesting too, as these cruisers just continue coming into the cemetery one after one, recognizing a few of the officers or chiefs in their, waving. And I think about all of the times that we've had tragedies or near tragedies happen in some of these communities. And as reporters, we're also holding our breaths. You don't want it to be anyone's loved one, but you also don't want it to be someone that you know and someone that you've gotten to know over the years from covering various stories and various incidents around our communities. Looking at a cruiser right now from New Richmond, Ohio, from Xavier University. I mentioned that there was unsurprisingly, a very large police presence from Springfield Township. I didn't even realize how many officers they had until we saw all of them coming in earlier on. Cherie and Mike, I know that you can all see the family members that are gathered at the front waiting to bury their loved one. And of course, they are all impacted more than anyone. Officer Unwin's parents and his sister and brother and his little nephews. And I've had people out here asking, whether it's from covering this story earlier in the week or right now, hey, was he married? Hey, did he have any nieces or nephews? What was he interested in? What did he like to do? And it's interesting to see how much people want to know more about Officer Unwin. And of course, we're going to continue hearing those stories on social media and various platforms about who he was and what he did. But during the funeral today, we got to see a little bit more of a glimpse of who he was, of course, in uniform and out of, that he was a goofy guy, that he made people smile, that he made an impression on everyone that he met. And of course, that sticks with you too. He was someone who served and who gave so much of his life to the community, ended up giving his life to the community, but he was also someone who just made a difference. And that's why a lot of these people wanted to come out as well.
So again, if you're just joining us, that was Jatera McGee out at the graveside of Officer Tim Unwin. Mike Dardis with you here, Cherie Palello, and we've got Gene Ferrara, who's the former police chief, University of Cincinnati, and the director of public safety, and also worked quite a bit with the Cincinnati Police Department. And we've been with you for about 3 hours now, taking you from the Spring Grove Funeral Home and the service there, where friends got up and spoke about Officer Unwin. The chief of police, Rick Bly, did a wonderful job eulogizing him, showing the human side of Officer Unwin, talking about how he worked hard and he played hard and he worked out and was kind of like a brother to him there at the department. And we're taking you all the way through the big, long procession, about 9 miles, where you had people lining the streets and waving their American flags and saluting as the hearse and the motorcycle escort came by, and all of those vehicles. And finally, they have arrived here at the Arlington Memorial Gardens, the cemetery there, where you see the family right in the front, right where that tent is, and then officers from the Springfield Township Police Department and beyond, part of this big blue family from all over greater Cincinnati, the Dayton area, Columbus, I presume, and really many, many states represented here today. So Gene, as I mentioned, has a whole lot of experience, and he's been unfortunately on the air many times, kind of explaining and taking us through. Talk about this next hour a little bit more for people who are just joining us as we go. We've mentioned it here in the last hour or two, but a lot of folks are just tuning in here at the top of the hour, Gene, at 1 o'clock. There's something so special, something so beautiful, something obviously sad and somber, but there's a lot of tradition, and some of it is kind of buried in military tradition here as well over the next, 45 minutes or so. What are we going to see?
Yeah, well, interesting, the shot that you see there, there's a group of officers in uniform with the red stripes on the pants leg. That's probably the honor guard from the Hamilton County Police Association, which is taken straight from the military, that in uniform, they will escort the casket to the actual plot, the burial plot. That's strictly borrowed from the military. Much of what's going to happen now is, as you said, seated in military ceremonies. I mentioned earlier that when I started, we were told that police agencies are semi-military organizations. We have uniforms, we have rank structure, and all those things, and so we have borrowed much of the ceremonies from the military. The things that we will see here, I'm going to guess I did see one of the bagpipers in kilts that will lead the procession, if you will, in that short distance over. Usually there's someone with a bugler will blow taps, which interestingly, taps really is lights out, which goes at the end of the day to announce to all of the soldiers in that camp that lights out, that day is over. And the lyrics to it say, go on the setting sun, the day is done.
Gene, this honor guard is so special. This is not appointed, correct? These are people who volunteer.
Absolutely.
And they want to be a part of something like this.
Yes.
They've been moved somewhere along the way where they want to be a part of the ceremony and saying goodbye to a fallen officer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And while the casket was in the funeral home, there was an honor guard on each at each side, of one at the head and one at the foot of the casket, guarding, if you will, ceremoniously guarding that body so that it is not in any way going to be disturbed, and it will stay there guarding it all the way till its final resting place. And that's exactly what they volunteer to do, is to guard it.
They have not brought the casket over to the burial site just yet. Of course, when that happens, we will listen in and be respectful. It is so touching. We talked about the procession and just the enormous show of support from all over. I saw Kettering, which is right outside of Dayton. It's a suburb of Dayton. The Kettering Police Department here, departments from all over Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, representing and paying their respects to this fallen officer. And you're watching just so many of the officers walking up here. It's quite a task to get all of these cars parked and allow the officers who want to be at the burial site for this service to be here. And this is what struck me, Gene, that over to the right, the far right, this huge crowd of officers, friends, and family who are gathering there in the grass to surround this burial site.
Yeah. And to see them, to your point, and you earlier, Mike, had talked about parking the cars. We got 3 miles or more of automobiles that have to be parked, and then those officers have to walk from there. And you can see them walking, getting there now from their car, which could have been parked a half a mile away, and they're walking to be in that gathering, and it keeps growing and growing. The size of that gathering is impressive, no question.
Gene, we're going to keep this picture on the screen so people can watch what's going on, but it's going to be a little bit of time, we're told, before everybody gets into place. So while we're watching the pictures, we've been referencing Chief Rick Bly from the Springfield Township Police Department. He spoke earlier at the Spring Grove Funeral Home. He talked a little bit about Officer Unwin, this 31-year-old veteran of 2 years with the Springfield Township Department. Prior to that, 2 years in Hamilton and 4 years as a Hamilton corrections officer. But he didn't just talk about the officer, he talked about the type of man he was.
Tim was enthusiastic about being a cop. He loved it and was devoted to it, and did the deeds for a worthy cause every tour of duty. Tim's journey ended in triumph as an honorable and respected police officer. This week has been a time for grief and mourning. It's been the hardest week of our lives. It's tested our faith to the fullest. Tim was a loving son and brother. He made everyone smile with his antics. He truly made everyone a better person. A family friend that my wife Michelle and I attend church with lost their daughter at an early age years ago. At that time, we couldn't comprehend how you continue on in life with such sudden, tragic loss. Their motto was to live better, not bitter. As we leave here today, let's honor Tim in the way he lived his life by making people better. Let's not focus on being bitter about something we will never fully understand. Let's Tim's influence make us better with everything we do in honor of him.
That was Chief Rick Bly with the Springfield Township Police Department. Just part of what he had to say during today's service. He also went on to say, talked about the rainbow that was above the police station on Friday after he passed, the thunder that he heard and his officers heard last night, and he said, "Rest easy, my friend, we got this." I want to also play for you, now listen, once the bagpipes start, once they start to bring the casket over to the burial site, we will dip back in. But I want to also let you listen into, if you're just tuning in, there were several friends who spoke at the service this morning. Jacob Kennedy had been friends with Officer Tim Unwin since the 3rd grade. Let's listen into part of what he had to say.
I've known Tim since the 3rd grade, and over the past week, just like everyone else, it's been a dense fog. Just trying to get through the week, really. And, you know, all sorts of memories and stories come back to mind, and things that you think are insignificant in the moment just carry so much more weight now. And just like all of you guys, I'm sure you have hundreds of stories you could tell. And quite honestly, I want to hear all of them. And I want to tell all the ones that I have. But the one that really, I guess, has spoken to me all week, and I've told some of you guys already, was really the first memory I have of Tim. He came over to my house when we were really young, and we ended up just playing Nintendo 64 in my basement. And the story has become so vivid over the past week, and we were playing a James Bond game, but it wasn't GoldenEye. It was another one. It was a blue cartridge. I don't know if any of you guys know, but it ended up being him playing and me watching because I was so bad. And you know, we didn't have a memory card, so you either played all the way through before turning it off, or you had to start over. And we got all the way through. He carried the team. But then you fast forward to any time in the past 8 months, and he would text me randomly throughout the week and ask if I wanted to play Call of Duty on PS4. And you know, we would play every now and again, and you know, offline I would ask him, half jokingly but half serious, you know, why do you keep inviting me to play? I'm terrible. And I know Zach is out there somewhere, and I even told Tim, I was like, your cop buddies have to hate me because I don't do anything for this team online. But my point, I guess, with all this is he just simply responded and said he didn't care. He just wanted to hang out. And, you know, I think the big theme from any story that I have with Tim is he never asked anything. He just wanted you to be there.
As we continue to watch people file in to the Arlington Memorial Gardens, we're bringing you continuing coverage of the funeral of Officer Timothy Unwin, who died on the 31st of March after that collision, responding to an officer needs assistance call. I just wanted to say something real quick about this weather today. It's a gloomy day here in the spring. It seems almost every other day we've had storms, wind, you know, drenching rain, and we had the possibilities of that today as far as light rain, but it's held off a little bit. And just so thankful that the family and all of those officers and all the family in blue got to stand out there without being rained on today during this service. Again, as we continue to watch, as soon as the proceedings get underway, we will of course cut out of anything that we're doing as far as interviews are concerned and bring that to you in its entirety. But right now, just another perspective about what kind of man Timothy Unwin, the officer from Springfield Township, was at that service earlier today, maybe about 2 or so hours ago. This is Jake Gilbert, who had known him since he was just about 7 or 8 years old.
Like most of us, everybody knows Tim had an infectious way of weaving into everybody's life. People just loved Tim. And everybody that, you know, met him, knew him, they were close to. I've known Tim for a very long time. When we first met, it was second grade, and his parents bought the lot across the street from us, and Tim just popped up one day. Just, there's Tim. And we, like, it was like kind of finding a stray dog, because we didn't live close to people, and then all of a sudden there was just a kid, and I'm like, you're my age, why are we here? Like, okay. Throughout the years, Tim had gained, like, just very much became part of the family. We were very close. My parents considered him a son, and throughout the years, you know, we were just really, really close. And my parents loved him just like a son, so they would show up. And when my friends would come over, Tim never knocked, he just walked in. He was part of the family. And to be fair, I think my parents would have been pissed if Tim knocked, especially got the dog barking and stuff. And like, why are you not doing this? Well, with that love came certain things that, you know, my parents would do. And we started, you know, like everybody, started drinking a little bit. And everybody knows this about Tim. He hates cardio, hates it, except when he's drinking. So we'd had a party, and Tim was drinking, and he decided he's going to go for a run down the street in the middle of the night. Well, my mom did not like that. So Tim came back from his run, and then all of a sudden we just didn't see Tim no more. So I went in the house. Tim's sitting in a recliner next to my mother. I said, Tim, what are you doing? And my mom just spoke for him and goes, Tim's in timeout. So Tim sat there for about 10 minutes. Then mom just let him go. And we were old enough to not be in timeout. And that was just Tim. Everybody loved him, all the goofiness that he would do. And I just wanted to say thank you all for coming out. It means a lot to us all that you're here. And I know that he would have truly hated being the center of attention like this, but I'm so glad that you all are here. Thank you all.
That was second grade friend Jake Gilbert. And if you missed the funeral service that started at 10 o'clock this morning, that was so much of what that service was about. There were lots of tears, but also lots of funny stories and laughter. recalling the timeout just made me giggle, because I think we've all been there and we've seen situations like that. But we did get a better sense of who Officer Unwin was today from the people, his friends, his lifelong friends, and there was also a guy by the name of Jason Eichel, who had worked with Officer Unwin from the very beginning as a corrections officer in Hamilton County, as a police officer in Hamilton, and then finally at Springfield Township. But just known for working out, loved being in shape and fit, loved his sports cars, video gaming, loved serving his community. But I think what struck me the most is how fondly people remembered him, and how they said he was just never critical, never bad-mouthing people, made everyone around him feel better about who they were, but also a guy who loved to work hard but also loved to play hard. And that's who we are remembering here today. Officer Timothy J. Unwin, only 31 years old, died in the line of duty last Thursday night into Friday, as he was racing to an officer needs assistance call. And we are joined here with Gene Ferrara. He was the former chief of police at the University of Cincinnati for a number of years. He's now retired, but also was an officer for Cincinnati Police for 50 years in law enforcement. And you were sharing a story with us. Sadly, we have said we've covered too many of these in recent years, 5 in the last 5 years. What's going to happen now after today? Because I know you're still very much involved in the law enforcement community.
Yes, I'm a docent down at the Greater Cincinnati Police Museum and on their board of directors, and there will be a plaque with Officer Unwin's face in the wall of Memorial Wall, and there'll be a narrative. There'll be a little QR code on it. Somebody has a smartphone, they can put it up there, and there'll be a brief narrative of what happened in this case. The first one of those goes back to 1850. And this will now be the last tour I did, which was just Tuesday. I was saying that hopefully there will be no more editions, but here we are with this one. But the memory, and I would offer this to Officer Unwin's family, both blue and blood. The memory of Officer Unwin will live on. The memorial wall will display it. And so we will talk about it. And those of us who are docents and take people through, we will make mention of Officer Unwin.
It's our job here, local media, to be the liaison between you, the viewer, sitting there watching this at home, and this graveside ceremony, which is just going to be so somber and so beautiful. But to take you there, here's what I want to do just for a second. With all of those people, dozens and dozens of people there at the graveside right now, I'm hearing these birds chirping. It's that quiet. So just for a minute, so you could get an idea of what it's like out there at Arlington Memorial, could we just pause for a moment and put the audio up there at the service, so we can take you there, transport you from your home to where the family is right now, getting ready to say goodbye to Officer Unwin. Let's listen in just for a second. So to me, that's one of the most powerful things, is you have literally a few hundred people standing there, and not a word, not a conversation, no screaming, no crying from kids, like you'd have at a church ceremony or a wedding. Just birds chirping, and you hear the traffic way off in the distance on a highway as people have made their way to Arlington Memorial Gardens to lay to rest Officer Tim Unwin. Again, if you're just joining us, 1:25 in the afternoon on a Thursday, Mike Dardis here and Cherie Palello and We have Gene Ferrara, who is our guest analyst. We really appreciate his presence today. He's done an amazing job. And all along the way from the service this morning at 10 a.m. at Spring Grove Funeral Home, through the procession and all the way to the final burial site, we've had commentary from John London and Karen Johnson and Danielle Dindak and Brian Hamrick and Jatera McGee as well. And rest assured, if you missed any of this, we have our news beginning at 4 p.m. that Cherie will be anchoring. So 4 p.m., 5, 5:30, 6, 11, all throughout the evening, we will bring you coverage. Let's listen in right now as the service is about to begin.
our brother Tim has gone to his rest in the peace of Christ. May the Lord now welcome him to the table of God's children in heaven. With faith and hope and eternal life, let us assist him with our prayers. Let us pray to the Lord also for ourselves. May we who mourn be reunited one day with our brother Tim. Together may we meet Christ when he who is our life shall appear in all his glory. Let us pray. Because God has chosen to call our brother Tim from this life to himself, we commit his body to the earth, for we are dust, and unto dust we shall return. But the Lord Jesus Christ will change our mortal bodies to be like his own in glory, for he is risen, the firstborn from the dead. So let us commend our brother Tim to the Lord, so that the Lord may embrace him in peace and raise up his body on the last day. For our brother Tim, let us pray to our Lord Jesus Christ, who said, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me shall live even in death, and whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. I will invite your response to each invocation. Lord, have mercy. Lord, you consoled Martha and Mary in their distress. Draw near to us who mourn for Tim, and dry the tears of those who weep. We pray to the Lord. You wept at the grave of Lazarus, your friend. Comfort us in our sorrow. We pray to the Lord. You raised the dead to life. Give to our brother Tim eternal life. We pray to the Lord. Our brother Tim was washed in baptism and anointed with the Holy Spirit. Give him fellowship with all your saints. We pray to the Lord. Comfort us in our sorrow at the death of Tim. Let our faith be our consolation, and eternal life our hope. We pray to the Lord. With longing for the coming of God's kingdom, we now pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Bow your heads and pray for God's blessing. Merciful Lord, you know the anguish of the sorrowful. You are attentive to the prayers of the humble. Hear your people who cry out to you in their need, and strengthen their hope in your lasting goodness. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. Eternal rest grant unto Tim, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him. May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.
Company! Attack! Good!
officer.
Car 8 over 31. Hamilton County, for car 8 over 31, Officer Tim Unwin. No response on car 8 over 31. Attention all cars, all departments, this is the final call for Springfield Township Officer Tim Unwin. Tim started his law enforcement career attending Scarlet Oaks Academy while serving as a corrections officer for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. Tim then served as a police officer with the city of Hamilton and Butler County before joining Springfield Township in 2021. Tim Unwin was truly a man of marvel with an infectious smile. He loved working out and spending time with his friends in and out of the gym. He was always the first to lend a hand, whether it be working on electrics, as his father taught him, or it be working on his friends or his own cars, which he perfected through so many upgrades and improvements. Tim loved cars and his Subaru. Oh, how he loved his Subaru. Tim loved hard, he was proud of his strong family, and he cherished his nephews. No matter the length of time you knew Tim, he left a lifelong imprint. His kindness, humor, and boundless energy made others around him exhibit those same qualities. He made the world a better place. You will be missed, brother. Tim would not want us to be sad and dwell in his lost life. He wants us to continue on working hard and playing harder. In his own words, you don't need that. Tim, we love you. Rest well, our friends. We will take it from here. Relayed Hamilton County Communications Center at 1347.
Company! Prison! Move! On command fire, volume 3. Ready. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire.
Oof.